endpoints or hi. So till now we have covered about continuous development, version control, continuous integration, and containerization. In this topic, we are going to cover about configuration management. How you can manage your remote servers or endpoints or target environment automatically without logging into it. So the agenda that we cover in this tutorial, you can see on my screen. We'll be discussing about Ansible, what is Ansible, how it got invented, how Ansible works, what is the architecture that Ansible follows when you deploy it in your environment, how you can set up your own master slave using Ansible. That will be a hands-on demo that we will do. We will also see what are Ansible playbooks, how you can write them, what are the various content of terms, lines that you write inside playbook, various sections of playbook, and we will implement our own playbook as well. Ansible rules that are very important from in terms of automation and managing your playbooks well. So that also we cover in terms of definition, detailing, and uh, hands-on exercise. So that's all we are going to cover in this Ansible session that is used for configuration management. What is Ansible? Ansible is an open source configuration management tool. This is used for configuration management. Before telling about Ansible, let's understand what is configuration management itself. I told you earlier also, in production environment or in our IT environment, we have a lot of servers, right? And these are not these are servers not just running; they are serving some purpose. Like we have DB server, which host databases, right? We have application servers, which are used to host our applications or websites. Then we have web servers, which are again used for content management over our websites or web portals. We may have messaging servers that may be used to manage our asynchronous messaging or deliveries to the backend applications. Similarly, we may have front-end servers, we may have back-end servers. We have a lot of servers. Every company has a complete data center, whether they are hosted or managed by their service providers or they have their own. In any case, our IT administrators need to manage bunch of servers, and they need to create, delete, provision, uninstall, install. Based on the new releases, they need to upgrade the servers. They need to do patching. Even every server has an operating system. That operating system may get infected with some vulnerabilities by the attacker. So some day-to-day patching, maintenance, upgrades. So being IT administrators or professionals, we all are aware of these kind of hiccups and the overheads that we actually suffer while we are managing number of servers, hundreds, thousands of servers in our own IT environment. So this is all these all actions, like when I say upgrade, install, build, like building a new server, installing OS on those servers, upgrading OS, upgrading services, upgrading applications, right? These kind of all activities that we perform, maintenance, right? So these kind of activities that we perform on our server, this is called configuration management. It can be a small change, like changing a file, maybe a cron tab, maybe changing some application configuration file, changing some path, creating directory. Means starting from smaller level, like creating a file till directory, till changing services, adding services, restarting services, installing application. Everything comes under configuration management. So I think I was able to explain you what configuration management is in IT. So this is where Ansible plays a vital role. When we have a lot of servers to manage in our own IT environment, We need a tool that can manage those servers remotely without having manual intervention. And this is where Ansible uses templates, playbooks that you can write once and run any number of times on any number of target machines. Right? So this is where we can see some pointers are written here which describe Ansible. It is an open source or configuration management tool. It is used for configuration management, can solve wide range of automation problems. Write once, run anywhere, run anytime, run multiple times, recurring jobs, okay? Uh, Pre-install job, post-install job, pre-maintenance, post-maintenance, any kind of playbooks or scripts you can write in Ansible and you can run on your target machines. Group of target machines, individually, group means various remote devices, network devices. Now Ansible supports many type of endpoints, be it servers, network devices, bare metal machines, VMware devices, OpenStack devices. So all kind of devices are supported by Ansible. So this was first written by Michael Dehan. It was named after a fiction communication device first used by Ursula K. Le Guin in her novel Buchanan's Word in 1966. This was the origin and naming of Ansible, how it came into existence. And then it was first it was open source, and then in 2015 it was officially acquired by Red Hat for providing enterprise level operations and support to the Ansible users. So this is what Ansible is. The prime focus is how we can use Ansible for configuration management. Rest is the history that we just discussed here. In next session, we cover about why Ansible. Why there are a lot of configuration management tools. So we will see why we prefer Ansible over other tools, and even why Ansible or any other configuration management tool is needed. Some things I was able to explain in this session, and let's cover a few things in next session. So in this session, we will discuss about Ansible's usability, why Ansible is required. So this on my screen you can see like we have compared various configuration management tools and their trend in the global IT industry. So you can see I have tried to project here past 12 months trend of these configuration management software. I have placed all competitive identities of Ansible here on this page. Ansible, then Chef, Puppet and Salt. So you can see Ansible out of all the configuration management tools is highly favored and highly popular because of its diversity and various number of modules that it supports to integrate with large variety of platforms. Okay, so this is where we can see out of all four popular configuration management tool, Ansible is the winner clearly in this trend. So why Ansible is so much popular? Why it is winner among all the competitors? Because of some niche features, some niche advantages that it has as compared to its competitor tools. First of all, it is easy to learn. As compared to other configuration management tools, it is using a very simple language for writing its scripts, and that is YML, which is a dictionary list based representation, and very easy to learn, very easy to read and understand in sections, in tasks. So that's where Ansible stands easy for IT professionals to learn and start automation using it. It is written in Python. We all know that Python is majorly available. Means if you go for Linux distribution, which are very much popular among IT deployments, so all of the Linux flavor by default have Python installed, and that's where acceptability of Ansible comes more, because it is written and running on some platform that is already placed in all kind of Linux machines that are being used in production, test, deployment. So that's where you do not need to configure anything extra as a prerequisite for Ansible before you install them on your machines. So that is again a reason for wide acceptability of Ansible. Then comes easy installation configuration steps. We will see this how in 4-5 commands we can easily install Ansible on our Ansible master machine. Also, there is no need to install Ansible on slaves. That is very big advantage when we are managing thousands of servers using a configuration management tool, so you do not need to install Ansible agents or Ansible software on all the machines. You need to just install on one machine, that will be Ansible controller. You can say master controller, anything, and it will be able to manage all those machines without installing any kind of agent, extra configuration on target machine. Highly scalable. It is again because of these kind of easiness. It is highly scalable because it supports lots of variety of devices. It can manage your whole infrastructure like network, storage, servers, or applications. So Ansible can be used with lots of devices and lot number of devices. So it is highly scalable in nature without any performance impact. This slide shows about the popularity of Ansible in big organizations. We all know that Apple, NASA, Intel, Percussion, Cisco, Twitter, these all are big enterprises which are already using Ansible because of the features it provides. That's where we can sense how much popular Ansible is and how it is a proven tool to do configuration management in your environment. So this was some backing point to use Ansible in your environment. So next we will see how Ansible works. Let's understand how Ansible works in action. Ansible actually uses playbooks in order to run sequence of steps, configuration steps on your target machine. These Ansible playbooks actually use a very simple language, YML, that is called yet another markup language. This language is very easy to learn, and you will not need more than 1 hour or so in order to learn this language. So let's understand the working of Ansible with this simple example. Suppose John is running an enterprise and he needs to install a new version of Apache Tomcat in all the systems, all target machines. So this is where this is John placed here. He can be a system administrator, he can be operation person, or he can be a owner of any department or company. So now his requirement is to have all the target machines or maybe group of machines Apache Tomcat enabled so that he can run some websites on top of them. So instead of what is the normal process? John will need to log in to each of the server manually and then run Apache install commands on each of the machines one by one. Or he can use some script, automated script, and he need to log in and run those scripts manually on each of the machine, right? This is the typical process if you are not using any kind of automation. So instead of going to each system, now if he is using Ansible, he can use Ansible to automate the installation using Ansible playbooks, right? Here he can use Ansible playbook that will automatically run all the required configuration on target machines using Ansible connection. So this is how Ansible actually connects to the target machines and run the configuration. More details we will be covering in next session. What is Ansible architecture? How Ansible connects to the machine and what architecture it uses to manage all the connected devices. Suppose we have some group of hosts that are deployed in our environment. That may be Linux server, Windows servers, network devices, or anything. Now, what Ansible does, Ansible uses SSH or Python. SSH and Python. Python need to be available on the target machine for sure because Ansible runs on top of Python only. And then if these are Linux machines, if your target devices are Linux machine, then it will use SSH. If these are Windows machines, then again different connection mode is used, that is WinRM, that is Windows remote method. So this WinRM will be used in case of Windows machines. If they are Linux, so it uses SSH, which is by default available on all the machines. So both the components that are required to run Ansible on target machines are already available on the target Linux machines. So similarly for other type of devices, it uses the existing capabilities only. You do not need to configure any other new software or tool in order to make connection with the Ansible. So let's start with administrator, who is a master. Okay, so Ansible actually will be deployed on a master machine. So that's where it will run on a central machine that has Ansible enabled. All playbooks, all configurations or scripts need to be stored on master itself. Or master can pull from some other repository that will be. So anything means by any ways, if you are storing your playbooks remotely on central hub or artifactory, master will be responsible to pull those playbooks and execute them on all the target machines. So as I said, all configurations are stored in terms of playbook. These playbook actually, when triggered, they will check. These playbook actually can be run in two ways. Once they may have the host, the target host detail mentioned in the playbook itself. You can see in the host section. So, or you can provide the host details at the runtime also. So now, whatever mode you provide the target machine's details, host details to the playbook where you want to run this playbook, they will be picked from the inventory. And again, once inventories are discovered, Ansible will run the each task on target machines using modules that are written to perform these kind of actions. Individual actions, I must say. If you are performing service related action, you will be using service module. If you are going to perform file related action, you will have file module in Ansible. So based on the requirement, you will write your playbook using these module itself. So your inventories and modules will be checked in the playbook and the required action will be executed separately on the target machines using SSH and Python. So this is a typical architecture of Ansible. That's how it runs and completes your configuration management task. Fine. So this is these slides discuss the same thing in detail. First is master, that will, as I said, it will download the playbook, and this playbook contains the task to be executed. They are written in a very simple language, YML. You can see they are just text only, and they are easy to understand. And also playbooks are like instruction manuals. You whatever you write here are like instruction to the Ansible engine. Means what task it needs to execute on the target machines. So this is what playbook consists of. Next, inventories actually has a list of hosts. We by default we define inventories in etc Ansible host folder on Linux machines specifically. For other platforms we have different locations, but it is not a constraint. We can specify our own location also in Ansible configuration from where it can pick the inventory or host details. Also, what hosts are which hosts are listed actually? They are the hosts where tasks need to be executed. Fine. Next come modules. As I said, modules are like tools, commands that can control system resources like services, packages, etc. 750 plus core modules are available in Ansible, and they, even if you have your own script, your own required step, you can create your own module. Ansible supports lots of languages. It is not limited to only Python. By default, Python is used to write Linux modules. Similarly, PowerShell is used to, I means Ansible power Windows modules. Like if you are using Ansible on Windows, so these modules are written in PowerShell because PowerShell is by default provided by the Windows platform. If you are using Ansible on Linux machines, Ansible modules are written in Python by default, or you can use Bash modules also. So if you have your own script, Linux shell script that is already working fine, you can convert that script in Ansible module itself. And this is very easy to do also. So this way Ansible is very much dynamic to support and provide a reusability of your own custom scripts as well. that can easily convert it to the Ansible module, be it in Python, be it in PowerShell, or be it in Linux shell script. They can be easily converted to Python module, sorry, Ansible module, and they can be executed on target machines like other Linux module. Okay, so it even supports other kind of languages like Ruby and all can be used to develop Ansible module also. So this is how next is like as I said, it will use SSH and Python on the available on the remote machines to perform the tasks that are mentioned in the playbook. So this is how Ansible works. Here we will understand how we can install Ansible on our own virtual machine. So Ansible can be installed on your Ansible master machine. That machine you are going to make a master Ansible controller from where you will be running all the automation on your connected devices. So you need to select one server where you want Ansible installed, and then you need the second step. You need to configure SSH to access the Ansible host. You want to push. You can use user password name also, but that is not a good way. By default, Ansible uses SSH on Linux machines. So for that sake, you need to push SSH keys to the target machine so that they are configured to connect to the Ansible master. So they can communicate with the Ansible master and configuration can be done. And third step will be once we have SSH connection set up, we will use the connection to test if the connection is working fine or not. So let's try to perform these steps on our machine. I have listed these steps in this document. So we will quickly perform the command on my Ansible master machine that I have already running on my cloud. Let's connect to it. I have two machines. One is Ansible master and one I will use Ansible slave. That will be my target machine. So for the sake of having multiple machines, I will use my Ansible master as a slave. This way I will have two machines, Ansible master and Ansible slave, and Ansible master will act as Ansible slave also. So this way I will have two target machines where I will be making configuration. So this is kind of generic scenario also. You may need to configure your Ansible master also for some things. For you may need to do some changes in your Ansible master also. So for the sake of that, you can use your master also as slave itself. Okay. So it can be a target machine also for Ansible configuration. Let's start with this. So let's connect to the Ansible master and Ansible slave both. You are given a number 10. So what I'm trying to say is actually we have two machines. One is master and one is slave. So what I will do, Ansible master will push configuration to this device, and I will add this Ansible master also as target machine to my Ansible host or Ansible inventory. So this way this will become S1 and my other machine will become S2. So this is what I am going to follow in demo. You can use two separate machines also to push configuration, and do not touch master, or do not add this master in your Ansible inventory. That is also typical thing. But here I am just why I am putting this scenario, that I am trying to explain you that your master also can be a target machine. 6, 9, 12. So this is my Ansible slave. Is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. So we need to the configuration. Yes. So anyone how to solve this? Yes. Sir. Yes. Anyone? First. This is my Ansible master. So okay. Sushma. And change my name to Ubuntu.
Hi sir, we can traverse from 1 to n by 2 and
so my master and slave are up, and What next? I need to install Ansible on the master machine. So very simple steps. This is the link that you can follow if you want to get through the complete documentation. But
Okay, guys, so
this
simple one. Okay,
follows a very simple
how to
list of
find the
commands
factor?
that
So
I have
like
listed here.
we
Only
can
4
clearly
commands are
see
needed to
what is the
perform the Ansible
smallest value of the
installation.
factor.
First, I will
So the
refresh the
smallest value
repos,
of the factor is
Ubuntu server
1.
repos, and I will install some
Please everyone.
dependencies for Ansible
And
like
what is
software form
the
properties cleaning
largest
will
or the
install
maximum
first.
value of the
Then
factor
I
is?
will add
That is
my Ansible
24.
repository
So
to
can I
my
say the
current
number
repo,
is n1?
and then we'll install it
Correct.
after
So
that. Okay, so let's
the smallest factor
try doing this. This is my Ansible master. Just check it. It is
is my
showing here.
one thing, and largest factor
Next,
is
install this
24, which we
dependency.
can write n1. Okay, so I know my smallest factor is this one and my largest factor is
59
this one.
packages
So can I say my
are
answer
available.
lies in
Can be
this range
upgraded.
one thing?
I will not go
Because
into that as
definitely
of now.
before that no answer, and after that no
Fine.
answer one.
So
My
this is
answer
done.
ranges this particular.
Let's add the Ansible
Right.
to my.
Now we are done with our range part now. So I just simply write a loop one thing. Okay, start from 1 and
Second will
it
be
should
the
be
last
less
step
than
is to
equals
install
to
Ansible.
n content and I plus 1. Okay. Now, how to say a given number is a factor of 24?
This is where you can
Where
see
my
how
remainder
much
is
quick it
0,
was.
1, right? And how to find
Only
remainder?
1 minute.
For finding remainder, you will
Installing
use
Ansible on
dot
any
plus
machine.
operator 1. Right? Simple thing. So what I'm going to do is I just simply check if n modulus I, if it is equals to 0, 1, means if my remainder is 0, 1 thing when divided by I 1 thing,
It's
it
taking
means
some
that is my
time,
factor.
up to
And
99%.
I'm
So
interested
let's
in
wait for it
count
to.
of a factor 1 thing. Correct? So I will take
Meanwhile, I
int
can go through the document. What
count
next step we have to follow.
equals to 0,
Right.
1 thing.
So first
And
thing,
whenever
we
I
have
got
got
this
Ansible
condition,
installed.
I
Second
will
was
increase
to
the value
connect
of
my
count by
slave
1.
nodes, to configure my SSH on my slave nodes to
Okay.
connect to the Ansible
Now,
master.
once you are done with
The
this,
step is
then
again simple.
return
I need
here
to generate
count
some
1. Okay,
SSH keys.
return or just print
Okay.
here
So
count.
Ansible is installed.
Right? Pretty simple one.
Let's see.
Let's quickly do a try
Ansible
run
version
on a small
2.9.1 it is
So
installed.
let's take we have
Config file
n
that
is equals to
used by
8.
Ansible is placed here by default.
So
Whatever
start from
configuration
1
you
and
need to
check
place
is 1 is less than
in
equals
for
to
your
8.
configuration
Yes,
means
1 is less than equals
this
to
is not the
8.
configuration that you want to push
Check
to the server.
is
This is the
8
configuration used by
modulus
Ansible
1
functionality.
equals to
Okay,
0.
for it is
8
required for
modulus 1 is
Ansible
also equals to 0.
functioning. So anything that you want to
So increase the
change from
count
Ansible
value by 1. So
perspective for its
initially count is
functioning,
equals to
like
0. So
timeout,
count value
delays,
is
speed, the mode of Ansible
now
operation,
I is
parallel,
equals
serial
to 2.
execution,
2 is
right?
less than
Okay,
equals to 8.
these kind
Yes,
of
2
things
is
you
less
can
than
define here, from where
is
it
8
can pick
not
the
plus
host
2
inventory.
equals to
So these
0
all kind of
is 8 not plus 2
details you can
equals
see
to
on my
0.
screen. This
So increase
Ansible
the
config
count
file
by
contains. It is very important file.
3.
All
3
configurations
is
are
less
placed
than
here. If
equals
you
to
are
8.
changing the
Yes, 3
location
is
of
less
this
than
file,
equals
then you need
to.
to
Is 8 not
specify
plus 3 equals to
that
0?
location
No,
also
it's
in
not
your
0.
environment variable or
So count
other
remain
way, so that
same.
Ansible
Okay,
knows
that is
from where to pick
4.
the configuration.
Now it's
So
4
inventory
1
file
thing.
it will pick by default from
4
here.
is less than
The
equals to
hash,
8.
all
4 is less
hash
than equals to
lines are actually
is
commented
8 not
lines. They are
plus
not
4
effective.
equals to
So
0.
if they are
Yes, it's 0 1.
commented, Ansible
So
will
increase the
pick
value of
all
count by
default configuration. If you want
now
to use
5.
some custom
5 is
location,
less
then
than
you can
equals
just
to
uncomment it,
this 5 is less
remove
than
the hash, and
is
specify
8
your
not plus
custom
5
location for picking
equals to 0? No,
inventories,
it's not.
for host,
Count same.
for libraries, for modules,
Next
okay,
is
for
6.
roles,
6
everything you
is less
can
than equals to 8.
change here
Yes,
in
it
this
is.
Ansible
Is
configuration
8
file,
not plus 6
ansible.csv.
equals to 0? No, it's not.
Rest
Count
detail you
is
can see
7.
execution from
Next
where
is
the
7.
executable is
7
located.
is
So
less
this
than
is the
equals to
location
8.
user bin
The 7
Ansible
is
from
less
where
than
it is
equals
running.
to 8.
Even if you
Is
do
8
wish
not plus
Ansible,
7
it will show you
equals
this
to
wrong
0?
location.
No, it's not.
Oh, this is a
So count
typo.
is same one. Next is
Ansible.
8 1.
So you can
8
see
is
this
less than
the location
equals to
from
8.
where Ansible is
Yes,
running.
okay. Not less than, but equals to condition is also
So
given. So
for
it's correct.
where it will check for modules,
Is
if
8
you are
not
using
plus
any
8
module in your
equals to 0? Yes, it is.
playbook, so
It's
from
equals
where
to
it
0.
will
So
try to
increase the count
check
by
those modules and execute them. These are two
9.
locations.
9 is less
You
than
can use
equals to
multiple
8.
location also
9
here.
is not less than
If
equals to 8.
you
So
have
come
some
out
other
of this
location you are
one
placing your
and
module.
return here.
So you can everything you can customize based on
So
your
what is my
requirement in this
code one thing? And yes, the factor of
Ansible
data
configuration.
1,
Okay.
4,
Next
4,
is
and 8 1.
what we will generate
Right, this
our
one we have
SSH
value
keys.
1.
using SSH keygen, and
Okay.
we will place
Is that part clear to everyone?
the public
Any
key
doubt?
to
Any
the
confusion?
target machine so that Ansible master
And
can
like
communicate
most
to
of your
Ansible
knowledge,
slave.
okay, not most, everyone,
Okay,
each
so
one
these
of
are
you know
default
this
values
topic.
I am going to
Okay,
use.
but
By
that is
default,
not
the
the
bracket
idea.
ones
Okay?
are
The
actually default
important
values.
things.
So I am going to use default
Now
values. I will
let's say,
not change. I will not provide anything. I'm not using any
okay,
passphrase. So you can
we
see
assume
my
something. Okay? Assumptions.
SSH key has been generated, and by default, Linux places them on in
Assumption
SSH
is
folder,
like in
.sh
1
folder in your
second,
home directory. So these three files will be created
we
always.
can perform
Next, what I need to do,
10
this is
raised
my
to the
public key.
power
So only
8
public keys should be shared.
operations.
This is your private
What
key.
is the
Private key
meaning
should
of
not be
this?
shared
Like
with
in
anyone.
1 second,
So what
I
I need to
can
do,
find the
I need to
count of
get
vector
this
for
key
10 raised to
by
the
doing
power 8 number. Okay?
this is inside
In other words, like I can run a loop
so I need
with
to
the
give the
start
complete
from
path
int I is equals to 1
.sh
to
and
I
then
is
file name.
less than equals
So
to
this is
8
my public
I
key, and
plus
this key I need to add
I can
to
do this
the
work in 1 second. That's
slave node
what we are
where
assuming. Now, so if in 1 second we can perform
I have
10 raised to the power 8
folder
operation,
here.
so
Yeah.
how much
So
time will
now
10 raised
what I
to
need
the
to do,
power 9
the public key
operation
need to be
takes?
added here,
Or
authorized keys.
if n is equals to 10 raised to the power 9, how much
This
time
way,
it will take
this
to
slave will
calculate
know
factors?
if some
Simple
key
one. So
instruction some server is trying to
1
communicate
second,
using this key
in 1 second we can perform
that
10
is in
raised
the
to the
list of
power
authorized
8
keys,
operation.
then
So one operation
this
is
server
equals
will
to
allow,
1
SSH will
upon
allow to connect.
10 raised to
If
the
the
power
key
8
of the server which is
seconds,
trying to communicate with
right?
this server
So
is not
10
listed
raised
here,
to the
the
power
connection will be
9
simply
operations
refused.
is equals to 10
So
raised
this
to
is
the
used
power
for
9 upon 10 raised to
keyless
the power 8
authentication. We are not
seconds,
going to
which
provide
comes out
means
to be
actually we are not
10
going to provide any user
seconds,
any
right? In
input
order to find
or any password input,
factors of
but
10
because
raised to the
keys are
power
entered here,
9 one
so
thing,
that's
it
where
will take
my master
10
will be able to
seconds.
communicate to the slave directly without
Okay,
any
okay, no problem. 10
additional
seconds is
authentication,
also not a
right?
very big amount, so
So
we don't
this
need to
I
worry
can
about
check.
it. Okay, no
I have
problem.
added the key.
Now,
So
what about
let me check
when
if
n is
my
equals
master is
to
able to connect to my
10 raised
slave
to the
node.
power 80?
SSH. What is
So
the name
again,
of
it's simple
my
now.
target machine?
10 raised to the power
This
80
Ansible
is equals to
slave.
10 raised to the
You
power
can do
80
and check.
upon 10 raised to the power 8
See,
seconds one, which comes
I
out to
am
be
inside from my
10 raised
Ansible
to the
host,
power
Ansible master.
10
I am able to connect to
seconds.
Ansible slave
Right?
after adding the
Now,
key.
guys,
And this is
just
what
try
was
to
needed.
take
Without
a
any
minute and convert it
authentication, I can
into it
connect.
in terms of
My
years.
Ansible master,
How much
Ansible
time it
controller
is
can push
in terms
these
of years?
changes to my slave node without any further authentication. So this is where SSH configuration was needed. I'm back to my Ansible master. Because I'm going to use this Ansible master also as a slave or target machine, I will push the SSH key that I generated to my own authorized Ansible master's
जैसे
private
कि
key
अगर
also.
मैं आपसे पूछूं
Okay, this is also
एक दिन
because
में
it will not
कितने
allow its
घंटे
own
होते
user
हैं
to connect to the
24 होते
machine
हैं, ठीक है?
until keys
अब
are
मैं आपसे
added.
पूछूं एक मंथ में कितने होते हैं
Okay, so let me
आवर्स
check
तो
the
आप
code
बताओगे
here.
24 into
Key will
31,
be same
राइट?
because
तो
same
सेम
master
थिंग
is going
आपके
to
पास
connect
ये
to both the
टाइम
machines.
गिवन है,
So
इस टाइम को ईयर्स में कन्वर्ट करना है। मतलब क्या करना होगा 10
okay,
raised to the
so
power
this
10
is where
divided by 60
let's
एक मिनट
try
हो
to
गया
connect to
into
Ansible master also
60 एक
from
घंटा हो गया into
using this user
65
Ubuntu.
days
So it connected successfully to Ansible master also
okay,
using
right. So anyone?
the current user. Remember that whatever keys I
So now
generated and
try
pushed
to
to the
understand.
target machines
It will take
were for
nearly
current user only.
317
Whenever I am
years
using Ansible,
to
now I need
calculate
to use this
just
Ubuntu
the
user
factors
only.
of this
Any
particular
other user
number.
existing on the server, even
Okay,
root, will
means
not be
it
able
will
to
take
communicate this to the
generation
target
to
machines
generation
until keys are
just to
added.
calculate
So remember, since I
factors
have
of
added the key for this Ubuntu user to the target machines,
given
all the
number
configuration
n.
or Ansible will need to be executed using
Correct?
this
And
user
in
only.
today's time, we are talking about
Okay.
processing of trillions
So
of
if you have
data
any
in
doubt, just check the user using
very
UML,
less time.
and if
Okay,
it matches
so
the user that you
definitely
added the configuration,
whatever we
then
have
only
discussed
you
is
proceed.
not a good idea.
So I have
Correct?
performed all the three
And to
steps,
optimize this
installed
thing,
Ansible,
we
configured
need
SSH,
the
and
knowledge of
tested the connection
data
using
structures
SSH. There is one more way to test the connection
and
using Ansible. I can
algorithms. Okay,
first
so
of
like
all I
why
need
companies
to
are focusing on this
add
thing?
host.
Because they want to reduce this time. Someone who is
Even
good in
I
this one
don't need
can
to
reduce this particular
let me
time.
do it for in next
Okay,
session.
and that's
First I
the
will try to
general criteria for everyone.
try
That okay,
connectivity to the
are you
both
guys
machines
good
using
enough
Ansible
to
way That
use
is
less
Ansible
resources and
-n.
give the maximum output
Ping
to
is the module
this system. Okay? And
provided
that's
by
the
Ansible
reason
to
we are
check the
studying data
connectivity of the
structures and
remote
algorithm
machine,
because
if they have
it helps us to
connected or not.
do the
Okay,
work
and
in a
then
very less amount of time. Like everyone able to think about, okay,
it's
we can
connected
solve
with
this
the
in a
Ansible master.
particular question, but
So
solving question is not a ideal.
it is not connected.
Solving question in optimal way is the
What
main
it is.
criteria. Optimal, optimal means in most optimized way. You can't further
One thing
reduce
I
it.
can do,
Okay, so that's
I
the
can add
idea
the
of learning TSA. And
host target
just
machine
to
to
do this
Ansible
thing, I just want to
host
give you an
file.
idea one why we are studying
Okay,
data
so
structures and
there are some
algorithms.
default lines,
Okay, not
right?
because we need to
All
clear
are
everything.
commented, so they
You
won't be
should
effective.
clear
I
with
won't
your
be
thought
touching
process.
these.
Okay, why I'm studying, why I'm
Okay,
joining
this
this
is
batch.
saying
I don't
showing
want
a
to
warning.
clear the
This
entire.
is
I want
this
to
file is
understand
actually
how things
maintained
are
by
working
root,
and how these
so I
things
need
help
to
us to
use root
reduce our
here,
space
and
and
then
time.
using sudo I will be able to make the
Okay,
changes.
so
So
that's
let's
the
add
idea. Okay,
what I can
still
mention
now,
here,
any doubt,
web
any
servers.
confusion, anyone?
This is how
Okay. Solving question is not my
actually
main
you
idea.
can
Solving,
group
just
your
let you know this
machines
particular thing is my
using
main
this tag in a square bracket. So
idea.
I am grouping my
This,
target machines
yeah, okay.
in a host group
Then what are
that
the
is
general
named web servers
constraints?
here.
This is the general constraint.
So
Okay,
here I
like
can
in
list
one
my
second. This is
Ansible
typically we are using this thing.
master,
Okay,
that is a
in
target machine for
any
me,
TSA
and
from anything.
Ansible.
This is the general constraint.
Okay,
Okay, in 1 second you can
okay, so
perform
both are
and
listed
this
here.
elaborate informations.
Let me run
Okay,
Ansible ping again.
is it clear? No doubt, no confusion. Anyone? Is it making sense? Yes, sir. Okay, guys. Now, what's our next task? Our next task is to reduce
See,
this
after adding to the
time
host,
buffer.
I
Okay,
am
because
successfully
definitely
able
it's
to
not a good one.
ping the target
Not
machine,
even a good. It's
right? So this is
like
how you
very,
can
very, very bad.
do and
With
cover.
317
This is
years
where
we
I
are taking
saw
just to
if you are
calculate
not
this.
adding to the
Okay.
Ansible host, you will
Now,
get the
when I
error.
ask this
But
factor question,
if you
one
have
of you
added
mentioned
in
that
order to
okay,
ping, in order
run
to
a
use
loop
the
to
target machine
n
in
by
your
2 1.
Ansible
You start
configuration,
from 1
you need
to
to put the
n by
target
2
machine
1.
in
Okay,
Ansible
and you
host
will get
file.
all the factors. Now
Now,
try
if you
to understand.
remember,
That is
I
also not
kept
a
these
good
names
idea, right?
inside one
Because
target
n by
machine
2
group
1
that was
insists
web servers.
317
So now
years
it's up to you
by 2
whether you
time it
want
will take.
to
But
ping
again, this
each
is a
machine
very good amount to
individually
take
by
care of.
giving their name.
One,
It will just cross check if they are present in your inventory file or not. So this way you
150,
can ping your target machines
8 something,
individually,
okay,
and
158.5 years
if you
it will take.
want
So n by
you
2 is
can
also
ping
not
the
a
complete
good
group.
idea. Okay, you just
What was the
reduce
group
some
name?
here,
It was
but
web
again,
servers.
it's a
If I
very
do
good
this,
amount of
you can
time.
see
Okay,
I am
so
able to
n by 2 and all these
ping
things
both the
will not
servers
work here. Okay, we
or
need
all
to
the
pick
servers
something
inside
else.
this
Okay,
group
now how to think?
without giving
Let's
their name
start.
individually. And this is where we can
So
see
again, I'm
Ansible
taking the
can
same numbers.
manage group of
N
hosts
is equals to
when they
24.
are clubbed in a
24 is
group,
1,
right?
2,
So
3,
now you can
4,
relate
6,
this
8,
with a very
12,
good
and
scenario.
22.
What?
Okay. Then
We
we have
have
another number, n is equals to
three environments
36.
typically: dev,
Vectors are 1,
QA,
2,
and prod,
3,
right?
4, 6, 8,
So
sorry,
now you can group your machines. You have
9,
five machines:
12,
M1,
18,
M2,
and
M3,
36.
M4,
Right?
M5
Now, what I'm
in
trying to do
development
is
environment.
I will write
So you
my
can club them
factors
all here
in
in
such a
dev
way when I'm writing
tag,
factor
and you
1
can run
multiply
your
with
dev
factor 2,
test
it
or
is equals
development
to n1.
testing in
Okay,
all these
I'm
machines
writing my
simultaneously
factors in this
for
way. When factor 1
for running any
multiply with factor
configuration.
2, it will give me the
Similarly,
value of
you may have
n.
you can have a
Okay,
group of
so
servers
let's
that are
start
for
with
testing
this.
purposes in QA
So
group,
first is
and
when I
similarly you can
multiply
have
1 with
group of servers
24,
that are
it's
for
equals to
production related tasks in production time. Similarly, if you have
24.
web servers,
Right? Next is
application
when I
servers,
multiply 2
database
with
servers,
12,
then again you can create group like we created
it's
web
equals
servers here.
to
So this is
20.
where the grouping is important, and it can
Right?
be
Next is when I
used
multiply
to
3
manage
with 8,
your target
it's
machines
equals
effectively
to
and run multiple configurations,
20.
run a single configuration on multiple machines in one go.
Next, when I
That's
multiply
where power of
4
Ansible comes in picture.
into 6, it's equals
So
to
this was all about
20.
installing Ansible and configuring
Okay.
it
After
in
that, you
master
can
slave
write it this
architecture.
way also.
Next, we discuss about creating
6
Ansible
into
playbook
4
that will
is
be
also equals to 24.
actually a
Next
good amount of
8 into 3
understanding
is
where I
equals
can
to
script number
24.
of tasks
Next is
to run on
12
target
into 2
machines.
is also equals to 24.
Okay.
Next
So
is
before going to next
24
session,
into 1 is
I
also
would
equals to
like to
20.
run some more commands
Right?
for
These
you.
are the all the possible
Actually,
pairs
Ansible
of
runs in
but we will get our answer
on target machines in
to
two
this,
modes.
right?
Either you write
We are
playbook,
done with all the pairs
okay,
of it. After the
that
pairs
will
is
have
the
sequence of steps or
duplicate
variables
part.
that will
Okay,
run
we
on the
just
target
reverse the
machines.
pair one thing, but actual answer
Or
we will
you
get at
can you
this
can use
particular
module directly in
point.
command line also. That is not a
Okay.
preferred way,
Now,
but
if
if
you
you
observe
want
your
to
factor
some
1 and
fetch
factor
some
2,
single information, or you
what is
want to
my
perform
observation?
a
My
small task
observation is
on a
that
group of
my
servers, then you
factor
can
1 is
use command
always less
way
than
also.
factor
Like I'm
2.
doing here. This is a
Like check 1
command
is
line
less
approach
than
to
24.
run configuration on target machines.
Like
But this
2
way you
is
can run
less
only
than
one
12.
module.
3 is
Like
less than
I
8.
ran here
4
ping
is
module just
less
to
than
check the
6.
configuration.
Right?
Similarly, there is
So
one
it's
important
look like
module
in order to
setup.
write all the factors of a
So this
number,
module
my condition
is
should
used
be
to fetch the
f1
configuration, current
less than
configuration of the
equals
target
less
machine.
than f21.
If I run it, it
Okay,
will
so we
fetch
claim
all
something, we
details
need to prove
of
this,
the
okay,
target
whether it's a
machine.
correct
See,
or
lot
not.
of
So we
information
will
it
apply the
fetched
same
actually.
logic on
Say if I check for
36. Again, I'm writing the
one
factors
mode,
in
it
such
is
a way that factor
giving me
1
details about
multiply with
both
factor 2
Ansible
is
slave and
equals to
Ansible master
9.
in JSON format. This is a JSON
So
representation
1
of any data.
multiply with 36
So if you check, I ran here, the
equals
status
to
was success
36. Okay.
and it
2
gave me
multiply
all
with
details
18
of my, this is for Ansible master.
equals to
You can see all details
36.
you can fetch. If
Next
you
is
want to get the
3 multiply with
IP4
12
address of your target machine, you can get using msetup. You can
36.
run this command
Next
to
is 4 multiply
get,
with 9.
you can add filters. You can add filters option also
Next
if
is
I want to get only this
6
tag in Ansible
multiply with
facts.
6
Okay, so
equals
setup
to
is actually used
30.
to gather facts about
Next,
your
after that,
target
repeat
machine.
it again. Okay. 4
So
plus
here you
9
will find
equals
everything
to
you want
36.
to know
Next
about the
is
server,
12
right?
plus 3
IPv6
equals to
address,
36.
architecture,
Next
BIOS
is
date, BIOS
13
version,
plus 2
command line, boot
equals to
image, date time,
36.
right?
Next is 36 into
Day
1
date time
equals to
contains every single detail you want. You may want to use
okay.
in automation,
These are
date,
all
day,
my
epoch,
possible
hour,
pairs.
right?
Okay, now
Similarly,
if you
Ansible
check
default
again,
IPv4, which IP
till
Ansible
this point,
connected,
we are able to
device
write all
links,
the factors of
file
a given
system,
number. Okay,
devices.
you
You
can
can
check.
see all
Okay,
devices are
and
listed
condition
here.
is also true.
Okay, so these are actually,
That
if
1
you
is
want to even
less than
collect some
36.
information about target machines,
Next
what
2
version
is
they are
less
running,
than
even they are
18.
upgraded or not,
Next
if you want to
3
fix some
is less
vulnerability,
than 12.
for that sake, you can
Next
use
4 is
this
less than
Ansible facts
92. But
setup command.
for this
Okay,
particular
this
one,
is very useful
6 is less than 6.
for
No,
these
it's
kind
not
of
less.
stuff.
Okay,
You can use
means
this
only
command,
this condition is not
this
going to
module
work.
in command line
Okay,
or
we need
in playbook
something
also.
equal
Both ways
part
will work similarly.
also.
Okay, so this was
Right?
one
This is
command. There is
the
one more
second.
command. Means every command, every
Now,
module
when I
that you want
combine
to
these two conditions,
check,
what
you
is my
can
final thing? My
run.
final thing is, in order to
So
find
there,
all the factors of
Ansible
a number,
provides you a
my
lot of
factor
modules.
1
You can
should
go
be
here
less
and
than
check
equals to factor
on web Ansible modules, and you will find all modules
take a
and
minute
supported
and let me
platforms
know. Is
in
it
this
clear to
Ansible
everyone?
documentation page. Can you go all modules? Okay, so these are all modules that are available. You can check using categories also. Cloud modules. Ansible supports cloud configuration.
If it is
You can
clear
check
to
cloud modules
everyone,
here.
now
You
we
can
have
have clustering modules, right?
first thing is
Command
factor
modules
1
that you can use in
multiply
commands, right?
is
And the database modules are there, file modules are there. So different databases it supports. Like for every database you can see modules are present here. MySQL, PostgreSQL.
So,
So
like
this is
in
where
the
you can
first
see
case, we
Ansible
will
is very
find
much
to
diverse
write all
and
the
it
factors. The condition
almost
is
all the
F1
type
should
of
less than
target machines,
right?
database,
But in the
networking,
second one,
storage,
like 6 is
everything can be
6 is
managed
not
using
less than
Ansible.
6. It
Windows
is
modules,
equal
web
case,
infrastructure,
correct?
utilities,
So if I'm
systems,
saying in
storage,
order to
source,
find the factor,
remote
factor 1
packaging,
should be less than
notification,
factor 2,
networking
is not the
modules.
sufficient case.
Networking is one
Equal
area.
part we
Inside
also
this,
need
you
to
will have lot
consider,
of categories. 18
correct? The
modules
case
are
of
there.
6
ACI. These are all
6.
kind of network devices.
So final condition is to find all the factors where
AOS,
factor 1 should be less
AOS,
than equal
Aruba,
to
ASA,
factor.
AVI. These are all network devices which can be managed
We have two things,
without
okay?
human
That factor
intervention
1
by
multiply
Ansible.
with factor 2
You can
equals
see
to and one thing.
this huge coverage by
And
Ansible
second
makes
thing
it
is
popular among
factor
all the
1 less
other
than equals
competitors.
to factor
Fine.
2. Right? This is my
This was all
second
about this
condition.
topic. We will meet in next topic, creating
Now, if I
ansible
ask
table.
you a very simple question, what's the maximum
In previous session, we
possible
successfully installed Ansible.
value
We saw how we can install on our own
of
machine, and we saw
F1?
few
So,
commands
what's the answer?
in how we can run Ansible modules from command line directly on the
Right.
target machines. In this session, we will
Anyone
see
else?
about
First
an
answer
organized
is
manner
what?
of running configuration on target machines
Six.
using Ansible playbooks. What is Ansible playbook? It is an organized unit of scripts
Okay.
or tasks that we want to
Then
run on targets. Okay. Second, it defines the work for Ansible configuration.
the number
Whatever
itself.
works, tasks we want to perform on the target machines are defined inside the playbook itself. And then it is written in
Now think
YAML
about
language,
guys.
which is
Let's
another
understand the question.
markup
What
language.
is the maximum possible value
So,
of F1?
how it
The
looks,
case
how
when F1
items
is
are
equals
arranged
to
inside Ansible
F21.
playbook.
What is the
On
maximum
top
possible
level, we
value?
call it a playbook,
F21.
and it has number of plays
That's the answer.
like play 1, play
Five,
2,
one,
play 3.
6, 10,
Similarly, we can
now
define number of plays
it's F21,
to run
right?
on
The
target
case is
machines
this
inside a
particular
playbook.
when 6 is equals to
These
6.
plays further have tasks. Plays have lot of items,
Now
out
again,
of which one is
okay. Now I know
task
the
that
maximum possible
contains
value is
the
F.
action that to be performed on the
So
target machine,
can I
target
write this
host.
thing as that
This,
F1?
these are achieved using
Okay, I have F1
call code
into
or
F2 is
custom
equals
modules.
to N. Okay. Now
Inside task,
substitute the
it is
value of
mandatory to use
F1 with
one
F
of the
with
module,
the maximum
Ansible module,
possible.
whether it is core module
Can I
or
write
custom module. Core module, when I say it is
into
default
F2
modules that are provided by Ansible itself, or you can write your own custom module also. As I said, you can write your modules in PowerShell, Python,
F2
Shell,
square
or any other language
is
that are
less than
supported by
equals to
Ansible, and you can
our
use those modules also inside your
F2
tasks.
should be less
So
than
basically,
equals
task is
to root
the
N.
name suggests like
Now
the
what is
task
the
that
meaning?
that I want to
The
perform on
meaning
the
of this thing is
target
in
machines
order
is
to
placed
find
inside the
all the factors
task
of a
list.
number,
Task
we
is
need
again
to
a list.
run a loop
Play is
like
again a list. So every item
N.
is a list where we are placing
Okay,
multiple
you can
items.
find all the factors of a
Okay. Then inside task, as I said, we have modules. Instead of
From
modules, you
here,
can use
it's
notify
comes the
also. When
idea
notify
of
or
the root
handler
and
are used
N.
together,
Most of you
handler
know
are like
root and N,
some
but
task we
what's the
want to call
story
multiple
behind it?
times.
How this will become?
That may execute as part of the multiple task inside our playbook.
So don't give
So we
answer
can
like okay,
define
root
that
N.
kind of task
You
in
should know
handler,
why root N.
and
Okay,
we
that's
can
the
place a name for this handler, and we can call this name inside
That's the
another
idea.
task
Okay. Now, can I
using
write the
notify.
updated code? Yes, we can.
So this is how notify and
What's the
handler
code?
works
Just
together
give me a minute.
inside
Okay,
a
let me quickly
task.
complete this, then I will take it. Okay, I is
So
equals to 1.
the same
Then,
thing
okay,
about playbook
I
with
should
more details we
less
will
than
discuss
equals
using
to
one
root
example here.
I
We will
plus
use two plays inside a
plus.
playbook. One play
Now,
will be
if
used to run two tasks
n
on
mod
target
plus
machine host
I
1. One
equals
task will
to
be
0,
to
1,
run a
then
command,
can I say I
Linux
got two
command, and second
factors?
will be to
Count should
execute
be
a Linux
increased
shell
by
script on host 1. Second play
count
will be
factors
executed on
for 3. For
target
one
machine
value
2.
of I, factors
So
are
as I
I
said, your plays
and n by
can be
I1,
restricted to run on
right?
different
If
set
my
of machines.
let's say n
It
is
is not
equals to
important or
24
mandatory
one, and my
to run
value of
on the
I
same
is
host.
equals to
Okay. So
24 mod plus 1 equals
second
to
play
0,
will
which
have
is
one
correct. So now mod equals to
same
2
script will be
factors.
run on the host
What are
2,
my factors? 1
slave 2,
and
and we will use
24 by
the
1,
second
which
task we
is
will be
20.
using to install Nginx on the host 2
Okay. So
itself.
for one value
So
of
this
I,
kind of
if n
two
mod plus I
plays we are
equals to
going
0,
to write
I'm
in our
getting
case.
2.
So let's understand each and
You
every
can put
item
on here.
inside a playbook considering this example, and then we will go on hands-on session.
Okay.
This
Now
is
let's check for 24 quickly.
a structure or organization of two plays inside a playbook. Any
So n
playbook
is
will
equals
start
to
with
24,
these
but
three
we need
items
root
you
of
can see
20.
here.
So root of
So any
24 is
YAML, this
something.
is not
You count
only for playbook.
9,
Any
6, 1,
YAML
but we are
that we write
flexible on
start
the
with three
integer value.
hyphens.
So it is.
Then comes
So now
plays.
I start from 1.
Every play
1 is less
is a
than
list, as
equals
I
to
said.
4. Yes,
So
1 is
list
less than
item will
equals to 4.
start with.
Okay. Is
Playbook is
24
also a collection
not
of
plus
lists
1
that are
equals
plays,
to 0?
and
Yes, it is equals to
every
0.
list item
So
inside a
now
list will be
increase
marked
by
like
count
hyphen
is
if it is a
I
multiple
is equals to 2.
item
2
list.
is less than equals to
Then,
4. Yes, 2 is less than
as I
equals
said,
to 4.
this minus
Is 24
dash you
not
need to
plus 2
give
equals
with
to
every play
0?
that you
Yes,
start.
it is. So
Now
increase
inside
the
this,
count by
so this is what you can see on my screen.
I is equals to
Hyphen
3.
indicates an
3 is
item in the list,
equals
right?
to 4. Yes, it
So
is.
once
Is
this
24
is
mod plus
a play
3
has been written,
equals to
you
0?
have multiple items inside the
Yes, it
play.
is.
So
increase
let's
the
consider
count
play
by
1. You have host. It is
I is
mandatory to be
equals to
defined.
4. 4 is less
So
than
host
equals
can
to
have only
4.
one host
Yes,
or
it
group of
is.
hosts.
So
We have
24
defined in the
1
inventory
plus
file
4
etc ansible book,
equals to 0.
right? So
Yes,
that's
it
where
is.
we can
So
give
increase
the
the
host name or
now
group of
I
hosts
is
that
equals to
we
5. 5
defined
is less
using
than equals
square
to
brackets.
4.
Then becomes
So return your
then
count.
comes
Count is
privilege
it and which
escalation.
is the
If you want
correct
to run
answer.
this
First
play
vector are 1,
playbook
2,
or
3,
play with the
4.
root user, then we can use
Next
become
is
yes or sudo yes. Name of
8,
the play is important.
12,
We need to give name of the play, like I have given play 1 here. Then the task. Task will is again a list. It will have list
6,
items
5,
where we will be placing all the
12,
tasks that we want
24.
to step
Okay,
in,
now
that we want to
we
run
just
in
check
sequential
everyone
manner.
beyond someone
So
is
that's
on
where you can
is
see each place is
now
like a
okay to
dictionary and
check
has
it for
name,
n
host,
is
task,
equals to
and order doesn't
20.
matter.
Okay,
These
just
items,
check for
task, name,
36.
host,
Okay, just verify
privilege
whether it's
escalation,
correct for
gather facts,
this
these are
particular code is
items.
correct for
The
all the
order doesn't
values.
matter. You can place host
Okay,
later on,
so
name
root
in
of
the starting,
36 is
or you can place
6 1.
task before.
Okay,
Any order will work in the same
I
way.
is equals to 1. 1 is less than
Then
equals
comes
to 6. This 1 is less than equals to
this
6.
one. So the playbook is a
Is
list of
36
dictionaries. As I said,
modulus
playbook
1
is a
equals to 0?
list of dictionaries.
Yes, it is equals to 0.
And then here,
So increase the
tasks are
count
defined
by
again, a list of items that I want to perform on the target machine. And you can
I
see
is equals
under
to
task
2
we
1.
have
2 is
item
less
1,
than equals to
item
6.
2.
Plus 2
Each
is less
item
than
need to have
equals
a
to
name.
6. Is
Even
36 modulus
need
2 equals to
you
0?
can place the
Yes,
name
it is
or
0.
it is
So
optional
increase
also.
the
You can
count
directly
by
give the
1.
command or
I
task
is
that you want
equals
to
to 3.
execute. Name is not
3 is
mandatory,
less
but it
than
is
equals to
preferred that if
6.
you want to
Plus 3
identify
is
in the
less than
log
equals to 6.
which action executed
Is
where,
36
then
modulus
name
3
should be
equals
given
to
here
0?
in
Yes, it is
task.
equals to 0.
Okay.
So
So
increase
for
the count by
task, it is a
I
order
is
correction
equals to
actually.
4. 4 is less than equals to
These
6.
items, as
Yes.
I said, these
4
are
is less
not
than equals to 6.
mandatorily need to be in order.
36
You can
mod
mention
plus
these
4
items in any order,
equals
but
to
the
0,
action that you
which is
defined
correct.
inside task,
Increase the
the list of
count by
items are
I is
sequential.
equals to 5. 5
The
is less
first
than
action you
equals to
define
6.
here
Yes,
will
it
run
is.
first,
Yes,
then the second, then
36
third, and
mod
fourth.
plus 5
So this is the
equals to
order
0.
list, and you
So
need
it's not
to
count
write
remain.
in the way or the sequence you
I
want
is
to
equals
run
to
on the target machine.
6. 6 is less than equals
Okay,
to 6.
that
Yes.
means first entry gets performed first, then
Is
second, third.
36 mod plus
So
6
this is
equals to
one
0?
example. So
Yes,
as
it
I
is.
said,
So
in
is
first
the
play we are
count
going to
by
execute one command date on the target machine. Then
I
we
is
will
equals to
execute
7.
one
7
script
is less
using a
than
script
equals to
module. You
6.
can see the
No,
module name here.
it's
This
not
is
6.
command module. This is script
Okay.
module,
So return your
and
count.
inside this
Count
script
is
we are
equals
calling
to
test
10.
script.sh.
Okay. Let's quickly check what
Okay.
are the factors of it.
And
1,
here again
2,
in the play 2
3,
we are
4,
performing on the host 2. You
6,
can see here,
9,
and
12,
the first
18,
task actually
36.
to run the
1,
script
2,
on the target machine,
3,
and the second
4,
is to install
5,
Nginx,
6,
right?
7, 8,
Because we are
9.
using Ubuntu machine, so we will use
So here is
ATT
answer
module
is
install
9 1,
package
but
or
we are
software.
getting 10.
If it was Red
It
Hat or
means
something, then
this
we
is
will use
not the
yum.
correct.
So based on
Okay.
the target
Now think
machine type,
about at what
we need to
step we
use
are
the module
making
if it
this.
is
Okay.
platform
So here,
specific module.
what are my factors? Okay. So first
So
factor
now
is
we
I.
understood
Second
the
factor is
play
N by
and
I.
plays and playbook
So
and
1
module task
and
everything.
36
So
by
we
1
will try
is
to create our own
36. Right?
using
Here,
the
what are my factors?
hands-on.
2 and 36 by 2 is 81. Okay. Now, what's my factor here?
So
Factor
this
is
is the
3
content.
and
We will
36
create
by
one
3 is
playbook
12.
here on master.
Okay.
Everything
Now
need to
here, what's
be
are my
the
factors?
configuration,
Factor
scripts,
is
playbook
4
need to be placed on
and
master.
9 1.
So let me check where I am in my home directory. Let's create
For
one
10,
Ansible
what are my
folder,
factors?
right?
Factor is
Just to place
6 and 36
Ansible
by
work.
6 is also 6.
Go inside it, and
Did you guys get the
I will
problem?
create my first
Problem is you are
playbook.
calculating the same factor for 2
Playbook
times.
1 dot
Correct?
YAML.
So what change
I
we
can
need
use
to do in our
YAML or
code? We
YAML
need to
both.
do a small
Both
change
extensions
and that change
refer
is
to the YAML
simply run
only.
a loop.
So
And
inside this,
I
let's
is equals to 1.
create
I is
my
less than
playbook with the
equals to
items we
2 and
discussed.
I
2 plays,
plus
play 1, play
plus.
2,
Now
and
inside
then
this, first check
same.
if
Okay, so my playbook is starting with
it's
3
to 0,
items.
then don't directly
Then
increase the
one
count.
plays this,
First
second
check
plays
if
this,
my
running on
I
host 1,
value
running on host
is
2, right?
equals to n by
So
I, it means
I have
same
what I have
factor,
mentioned here.
so count it only
I have
single time
mentioned Ansible.
equals to 1.
So my host names are different, right?
Otherwise,
So I need to mention exact
increase
host name
the
here.
count by 2 times.
My first
Right?
source is
Now, once we are done with
Ansible
this, we can
master,
work. Now,
and second host is
So now what happens?
Ansible slave, right?
See, these are different.
The name
Count
should be
increase
correct
by
for
2,
the host
which is
that you
correct.
have configured.
These are different.
Then
Increase the count to 2.
sudo is not
These are different.
supported
Increase
now.
the
We
count.
need to use
These are
become
different.
yes if
Increase
I
the
want to
count.
perform
Here
action
it is
using
same.
root
So
user
don't
there.
increase by 2. Increase by.
Then
Okay. So what is
this
my
command
answer?
will execute
It
it
is
script.
just
So in order to run this script on the target machine,
this is
so
the
this script need
updated
to be
code
available
for finding the
on my
vectors.
Ansible master only.
Okay.
So
Now
using
one
script
question
actually, script
arises. Okay,
module
so we
uses
have
your
do all
local
these
script
things,
to run
but we
on the
need to
target machine.
verify. Okay, whether it's
So this will,
actually reducing the time.
this script I
Or
need to create on my local
so
Ansible
again,
master itself.
same assumption.
So this is
In
my
1
playbook.
second, we can
Playbook is
perform
ready.
10 raised to the power
Next is
8
what?
operation 1.
I need to create
So
this
if
shell
I take
script that will
10
have
raised to
some
the
command.
power
I
18.
can place any command,
Okay.
but I
So
will follow
what
the
are my
documentation here.
operations? So operations
And
is equals
this
to
script, what I
root
am
of
creating, now I'll
10
be able
raised
to
to the
perform
power 18.
execute
This
script on
can
the
run for
server.
root by
And this
2 times
where
1.
I will
So it
just
comes out to
put
be
some
10 raised to the
small
power
command equal.
9. Right. Now, one operation is taking 1 upon 10 raised to the power 8 seconds. So 10 raised to the power 9
Then
operation
bash
is equals to
and
10
then
upon
echo
9 by 10 upon 9 is
hello
10.
Ansible, let's say. Right?
Now guys, understand.
This is my
It will time
script that
from
will execute on the target machine.
317 years to
Change the
10.
permission and make this script executable.
That's the power of
So now my
optimize.
script that I want to execute on the remote
You
machine
can
and my
reduce your
playbook is
time.
ready,
Just imagine
and
317
this
years
is
to just
command
10
I can
seconds.
run to perform
This simple
to
change.
run the playbook. But before that,
Okay.
if you want to check the
Okay, now
syntax and
one more thing.
everything
Okay,
correct
can
inside your
anybody
playbook,
tell
you
me
can use
how to write
hyphen
under root in
syntax
any
check also.
programming language
That
without
will
using
check for
any
the any
inbuilt
error
function?
inside your playbook. So the command to
No
run playbook
use
is
of
ansible playbook,
inbuilt
then
function.
playbook name,
How can I
and then
write?
if you want to check your script if you are running on the production machines or somewhere, so you can do a syntax check also.
Other 1 by 2 is
See,
directly
I got some error. Error sudo is not a valid attribute for a class. I think I used sudo somewhere. So let me
again.
check.
Double square means n plus n.
This is where the
Now
problem
next
is.
is 0
This
0.5
need to be become, and this need to be play name.
So this
There was
is in
some
Python.
typo.
It's
I need to correct
basically
it.
same thing. Okay.
Errors are good because we after that we get good understanding of the content,
Just
right?
think about
So
it.
if it returns your playbook name,
Very
then
good.
means
Very good.
everything is correct with the playbook. Now I can run it.
See, I is
So next
less
step is
than
running
equals
the
to
playbook using
root
Ansible
n.
playbook playbook
Okay.
name.
So if I
I can
square
just
both
run
sides,
this command and let's see
I
everything
square
in action.
is less than equals to n, which I can write
So
it as I
Ansible
plus
runs
I less
sequentially
than
as I said.
equals to
First,
n. That's the
it
end.
will run.
You can simply write I plus I should be less than
We
equals
got
to
some
n.
error while
Now you
installing
are
Nginx.
independent
We will
of
see
your
it
any
later on.
inbuilt function.
First, let's see the
So
execution
make
of
a habit
playbook.
of less use of
Right?
inbuilt
First,
function.
it has
Always write
executed
your
play
code.
one. So everything it marks here. First task was
Okay
gathering
guys,
facts
yes,
because
questions. Yes,
by default
question.
Ansible collects the fact about the target machine as we have seen in setup module, right? So it gathered the fact, it
Because for
checked
one value
because
we are
first
getting
whose playbook was running on
these are
Ansible
different
master
tests.
only. So we can see gather fact is okay. Date command ran successfully. So we can see here anything if something new happens on the target machine, Ansible will show in changed. Okay, if some read operation occurs, it will show in green. If I run the same operation again, so Ansible actions are idempotent for most of the modules because that means one action if performed already, Ansible will not perform the same action again. Okay, so that's where if there is some new configuration applied on the target machine, it will show in changed. If I perform the same action again, it will not show in changed item. So these are some conventions followed by Ansible. Similarly, these two actions run on target machine successfully, host 1, and then play to execute it, and where it ran on Ansible slave. It executed on the first the script on the target machine, and second script in install nginx got some error.
Yes.
What are the errors? Let's see what error I got. Install nginx failed. The error is failed to fetch this from here 404 not found. Okay. So Ansible was not able to install nginx because it failed to fetch it from this repo.
Okay.
Before that, I think I should run apt-get on my target machine, just
I didn't understand the
refresh the
part
repository.
where we took the root and
Complete. Let's try running
what
this.
part
Also, I
root
can
is?
put in my playbook, but I will not
Yes,
change the
this
playbook
one.
for now.
This
Now
particular
after refreshing,
we
I will try to run it again.
yes. One by one. Not this one.
Okay, so
Before this.
in the end item, you will see play
This
record.
one.
So for Ansible
Okay.
Master,
Now
everything
tell
was
me
good.
when I done
So that's why
all
I
the
don't
things,
see
now
it
you are
in
asking
red.
this.
It changed
So
two
this is
items,
we have
both task
tried
ranked
this.
and changed on
Okay.
the target
We
machine, and
tried
the
this
stable
thing
was
like
0. The
no
target
need
machine
to run
status
your loop
failed
from I
0,
is
skipped
equals
0
to
here.
1
We
to
got failed
n
1 for
one.
Ansible slave,
Okay.
the play 2,
Because when we
and
use
all
this particular
summary you can
idea,
see here.
it is taking
So
lot of
update has
time,
run. Let's try
which
running
is not
playbook
a good
again.
idea. So we need to reduce this thing. Okay. So we will find, okay, we will write our factor in this way. When factor 1 multiplies equals to factor 2, it should be equals to n1.
So I
So
think
here I will
we
find
did not
one
get error
condition,
because
like
we have
I'm
updated the
able to
repo.
write my
This
factors
ppt get
for
update
this one.
action is to refresh the repo so that it can have
No
latest
need to
softwares
go
available in the
beyond this one.
software repo.
Okay. And
So
my
now
condition comes out to be that your F1 should be
Nginx
less than
should be
less
available
than
on the
F2.
target machine, and that's where
Okay.
we
But
see
I
this
check
task is taking time
same thing
because
for
it
another
might be
example. I
installing
find not
Nginx
only
on the
less than
target
1, equals to is
Ansible
also
slave.
important.
So let's wait for the
Okay.
prompt to
So when I
return
combine these two conditions, I will
and
find
then
F1 should
see
be
the
less than
installation
equals to
status.
F2. This is my one condition. Okay. And second condition that I'm using is that F1 plus F2
Meanwhile,
is
we can go
equals to
on. Yeah, so the
N1.
task is completed,
Okay.
and
I
you
just
can see this
substitute the
task was
value of
successful now.
F1 with F2
So,
1. It
if we
comes
are
out to be
doing
F2 cross
these
F2
kind
should
of
be
things like
less than equals to
if
N.
we
So when I
observe like this
solve this
happened,
one,
we had to
I
run this
will find
task
that
also
in
before
order to
running any
find
software
all
install.
the
So
factors
we
of a
can
number,
add this
you
also
just
as
need
a
to run your
command
loop from
on my
1 to
in my
no need
software.
to run
Oh,
now.
sorry, in my
Okay.
Ansible
So
playbook
we
also.
drive this thing.
So what I can do, I
Okay.
can add this command also in my playbook.
Okay.
So I'm
Yes.
just showing it for demo purpose only. So I can add one more command here, right, on my target machine. I even
One question.
let's do add one step. Since now I
So
have got
sorry, my
this item installed already, so I do not need this, but I am showing you
किस
how
बेस
you
पर
can
हम ये
add.
डिसाइड करेंगे कि ये 10
Run
पावर
repo,
18 तक चलना चाहिए या अब
the
हम
name of
ये
the
एक्टिविटी
task,
को बदल
and
देंगे 10
how
पावर
I can run
36
in command.
36 तक क्यों नहीं चेक किया
That is, I
हमने
can give this
नहीं वो कर सकते हो
do
कर सकते हो
apt.
ये तो जस्ट मैंने एक
Okay,
रैंडम
so
एग्जांपल
it will
दिया तो
run
मैंने
this
जब
command
देखा कि
without
यार
any
10
human
रेज़ टू द
intervention
पावर 18 के लिए
that I
इतना
did.
टाइम ले रहा है
So let's try
36 के लिए
running
तो
it
इसका
again.
भी
There
डबल
is no
टाइम
benefit
लेगा
as of
उससे
now
भी बहुत
because
ज्यादा टाइम
Ansible,
लेगा
sorry, Nginx is
ये
already
बस मैंने
installed on
एक
the target
रैंडम
machine, but I
एग्जांपल
am just
लेके
showing
चेक
you
किया
how
कि
to
यार
run.
एसएसपी कैसे
So repo
परफॉर्म
update
करता
has run,
है इससे मुझे
and
इसका आइडिया लगा कि नहीं यार ये तो
this is
जब
where
कंडीशन
you can
18
see
के
run.
इतना
This
खराब
is
कुछ
done.
करो
It has
36 पे और
changed
भी
again.
ज्यादा
It will always because it will
ये
do
तो
some
जस्ट एक
action.
अजम्पशन
It will
है एक
always
वैल्यू मैंने लेके
show as
बैठा
changed. And here
बस किस
install
बेस पर
Nginx
हमें
is
चेक
not
करना
showing change
चाहिए
now because Nginx
एसएसपी
was
में
already installed.
हाँ
That's
मतलब
why I don't
आपको
see any
ऐसा चेक
change in
करना
the
चाहिए कि जो भी
status, and it
आपका
is showing
लॉजिक हो
just in green.
वो
Okay.
अगर
So now
10 रेज़
my
टू द
Ansible
पावर
playbook
8
has
अगर
run,
आप 1
and we have
सेकंड में कर
successfully
पा रहे हो
executed
तो उसका मतलब वो
on the
लॉजिक
target machine.
अगर
Okay.
उससे ज्यादा टाइम
What
लगेगा
next
तो वो
is
लॉजिक
Ansible role, but before moving to that, I will
और
show you.
सबमिट ही नहीं
I will go to the target machine. I will verify that my configuration runs successfully or not. So what I can do,
anyone else
I can check
any confusion
existence of Nginx on my target machine. This is my slave, Ansible slave, and here I wanted to install my Nginx software. So let's get from
no
to the
doubt
software
yes
list
everyone
and grab Nginx.
all good
So you can see here Nginx core common. These are installed on my
now
Ansible slave
similar
machine.
to this
This is
one
where
more
I
question
installed a software on my
we
target
are
machine
checking
without any human intervention,
prime
automatically using
question
Ansible playbook.
whenever
And when Ansible run, it will be started also. Let's see here. What is the status?
no like
CTL.
this number 3 no questions as okay this mostly theoretical one thing
You
and some
see,
algorithm
after
basic
installation, Nginx was enabled also, and it is
and
active
if you want
running
to
on the
check the
target
question
machine.
so you can go
By
to your
default, Nginx
platform
runs on
that has
port
been
80,
indicated and
so we
in
can check that
whichever
also.
course you are enrolled one thing go
Net
to that and you
sat
will find the questions on yeah.
a
Yeah.
grep port 80.
But in number
see,
30 like questions
This
are there
is
there are
running. So by default,
basic understanding
Ansible is running,
actual
and in
coding
order to
start
get
from the
the name also, which package is using, I need to be root. So I will run the same command with root, and here I can see the name of the application which is running and using this port 80. Fine. So this is where we confirm the changes we
prime
applied
number.
using our
So
Ansible
basically
playbook
our task is to
applied
we
successfully
are
on the
provided with a
target
number
machine.
one and we need to check
Correct.
that number is
So
a
this is
prime
all
number
about playbook
but
that we had to cover in this
So question
small
is similar.
DevOps Ansible session.
Write a
Next, we will be
program.
covering Ansible role that are very important in
So
terms of Ansible automation
give
and
me
configuration
number.
management.
Is a prime number
Hi.
or
Here we will discuss about Ansible roles.
okay.
Till now, we
If
have
it's
got
a prime
good
number, we
understanding
need to
about
return true.
Ansible
If
playbooks,
it's not a
plays,
prime number,
tasks,
we need to return
and whatever
false.
we want to execute on target
That's
machines,
the
we can
problem
write
statement.
inside
Okay. Now,
our
what are
playbook.
prime numbers? So, prime
We also
numbers
saw
are
how we
those
can
numbers which are
execute
having
playbooks and
exactly
do the validation on our target machines.
two factors,
So before we go in details of
and
Ansible roles,
the factors
let's
are
understand
1
what is Ansible
and
roles.
number
An
x.
Ansible role is a group of tasks,
Okay.
files,
So, now think about it using
and
the concept
handlers
of
stored in
factors.
a
Okay, so with
standardized
exactly two
file
factors
structure.
one thing, then yes, it's a prime
Roles
number.
are small
Otherwise,
functionalities
it's not
which
a
can be
prime.
used
Okay. So,
independently
open
but
any
only within the
online
playbook.
compiler. Okay, anything. Just type
Means
a sentence.
you can write
Take five
multiple
minutes, and
roles.
after that, we will discuss.
They can be independent of each other. Each role can be executed independently without any dependencies.
Yes.
But for calling them and running them on target
Can we not
machines,
use
we
the
need to
previous
call
order?
them within a
Just count the
playbook
number of
only.
factors. Just do it,
So
sir.
there are various
Do it.
commands, various tags using which you can call roles inside your playbook, like import role, include role, or just roles. So these are ways you can use your roles inside playbook, and they can be used as a modular content, a modular group of scripts that can run in a go on your target machines. You can write roles for various modular tasks. Like if you want to install some software packages, say Nginx or Apache on target machines, you can create one role for it. Similarly, if you want to some do some patching or upgradation on any server, or do some application upgrade on server, you can write a separate role for this. And these modules or roles can be called in sequential manner inside any other playbook from which they will be triggered. So is if we talk about role, it's not about a package of playbooks only. Apart from playbook, Ansible manages and groups files that you want to place on the server as part of configuration, the task that you want to execute in terms of multiple playbooks. You can create multiple handlers in the handler folder. You can create multiple global variables, default variables you can set. You can have templates. You can have scripts, libraries can be placed in various roles directories that are part of the roles structure. So if we see here, Ansible playbook we discussed, these are Ansible playbook actually organizes tasks while Ansible roles organizes playbooks. And using Ansible roles, we can make our playbook flexible also. They can be make reusable for various different configuration. If you want to run some configuration task on target machines, but some with some changed values on each server, then you can define using roles as well. So roles gives more features, more flexibility to our Ansible playbooks. Why we need roles? Roles simplifies writing complex playbooks. If you have lengthy playbooks, long list of tasks to be executed on target machine, you can arrange them in terms of roles, in terms of modular content. So as I said in previous slide also, we can take an example of multiple tasks, like we have to build a server first. That we can write one role. Second role, let me explain in more better way here. Suppose I have multiple tasks to run on my target machine, and these tasks, if I put in playbook, suppose I have to build the server, then do apply patch on the server, then install web server,
Okay. Okay, guys, now let's see
then
this one.
install application server,
Okay. So, it's
then
simple,
install
man.
database.
Like, we
These
know
are
how to
5
find the
tasks:
factors one thing. So,
1,
just keep
2,
this.
3,
This one. Okay,
4,
so, idea one is simple.
5. These
Count
5
the
tasks I want to
factors,
run on my target machines. Now, if I place them in
and
playbook,
if factor one
these
comes out
all
to
will
be
run
2, 9, then yes,
always,
it's a prime
right?
number. Otherwise,
So,
false.
and also the
Right?
playbook
This is
that I
the
write
first
with
idea.
all these 5
Now,
tasks
idea two
will
is
become
like
quite lengthy,
I even we are checking all
because
the
building of
numbers.
server will involve
So
lot
now
of steps,
think
maybe
about
15-20 steps
which
to
value
build a
of
server.
I
Then patching will
contribute to
involve
1, 10,
5-10
and
steps.
10.
Web server installation will
That is
need
1,
5-10
right?
steps.
Because when
Similarly,
I is equals to
for
1,
other
the
tasks.
factors are 1
So
and number
roles
itself.
gives me
Plus n by
a
I,
feature
which is
so that
n
I
by
can
1
create
equals to n1.
playbook roles for each of the tasks separately. And then even if I need to build a
Correct? So
server
if
but
I
I do not to
ignore
apply
this one,
patch,
okay,
then
and I simply
I can
start my loop
exclude that
from
role from the
A,
playbook that is
I
running
is
all the
equals to
playbook, all the
2
roles
and
sequentially.
I cross
Understand
I
this?
less than
Suppose
equals
I
to n,
wrote all the roles, means
I
the roles for all the
plus
tasks that are
plus 1.
placed here, 5 tasks. I got 5 roles.
So can I say
So I will
if
use this
if
playbook
if if if
to trigger
if
my
n modulus I
each role.
equals to
Role
0
1,
something,
or you can say
at
build
that point
role,
can I directly say it's not a prime
patch
number?
role, right? Web server
But
install
I am
role,
100% sure because the
then
factor which
app
contribute to
server
1 and
install
number
role,
itself, I already
and
ignore it.
database
I
install
start
role.
my loop from 2
What
1.
if one server
Correct?
was
So
already
if
built?
this
I
condition
have already
happens,
built
means it
server,
is
running server,
factor other than 1
and I
and
want to
number
execute
itself.
only these
So
4 tasks.
definitely it's not a
So I
prime
can just
number.
go
So once we are
and
done with
make,
this,
I just
return
remove this role from the
true
playbook,
one. That means if we are
and
not encountering this
these
condition,
4 tasks only will
we're
be
done.
executed on the server. Suppose
Okay?
on a
But
server,
whenever
I
you
want
are
to
writing
build,
this code,
patch,
please handle
and
n is
install web
equals to
server
1.
only. These
Set.
3 steps need to be done. So I can
So if
simply go to playbook
n
and
is
remove these 2
equals to
tasks
one thing,
and run only
we're
these
done.
3 tasks on the target machine.
Okay,
So
because
this is
what
where
happens
roles
if you don't write this
gives me
condition,
flexibility
it
to
says start
apply
from 2
configuration
1 thing
in
and root of
modular
1 is
approach,
1.
and
This 2 is
each
less
role
than
can
equals
be
to 1,
managed
it's a
in a
so
better manner.
directly it will say it's a prime number,
And
but 1 is
also
not a prime.
the content segregation,
So
like
handle
the
this
files
case
used by
separately.
build process, the files used by
Okay,
patching process, like
okay. So that's the
executables,
I got
binaries,
this
the
question.
files used by web servers, all will be segregated in different roles. The files will not be, the role will not become bulky also in terms of content it
Anyone,
has.
any doubt, any confusion?
Then comes roles allow you to reuse common
Yeah.
configuration steps between
And
different type of
guys,
servers. As I said,
make
the
a
build
habit of code
role,
says
if I want to
directly
reuse the same, I want to build
processing.
a fresh server for any kind of purpose, I can reuse the same role, build role in any number of playbooks. And I will not need to create copies of same role again and again. I can link same role to any number of playbooks and it will call it for execution.
I एक to I मतलब
Also,
factors
roles are
find करने के
flexible and
लिए
can be
इस
easily
चीज
modified because I am
अच्छा
writing
ये
each
बताओ जब
task
भी
or each kind of
अभी आपने ये नीचे
facility
प्रोजेक्ट
in
लगा है
terms of one
हाँ
role.
ये चीज जो है
So
जब भी
I
हम
can easily
फैक्टर्स के अराउंड
modify
कुछ भी
a
बात कर रहे
role
होंगे तब हम इस
without
लॉजिक
touching
को लगा
other
सकते हैं
roles. Also, in role, also we have a content hierarchy. Files I am placing at different location, scripts I place at different location,
yes
and
I
task I am placing, playbooks I am placing at different location, variables I am placing at different location, test and everything I am placing at different location. So management of these things becomes easy. Rather having everything in one folder, I have different
your voice
location,
is
named location for everything, and I can access it and change it accordingly. So if I talk about the structure that I talked about, role looks like this. If I generate a new role, the default structure looks like this.
okay. In the
This
meantime,
is my
anyone
new
else,
role.
any other doubt?
You will have the role that you create with the name will have parent directory like new role. Inside this you get a readme.md created. Then you get a defaults directory where you store data about
Why
the
we
role.
have
Also store
taken
default
I is
variables.
equals to 2. The reason for it
Then
because
you get files
I know
directory
if we
inside
start from one
subdirectory
thing, so one
where
is
you
a
can
valid
store
number
files
for a
that need to be
prime
pushed to
number,
the remote
correct?
machine.
Because
Okay,
definition
any
of
file
prime
that I
number
want to
is it has
copy
exactly
or
two factors. One is
used in the
number
remote
itself.
execution,
So if I run my
remote
loop
server
from one, so
as a
I
configuration
can't
management, I
directly
can
say
place in
this is
files.
a false case,
Then handlers.
right? Because one is
Handlers
a
can be
correct number
should be
only. So
separately
that's why I'm
placed
saying
in
don't just start
handler
with loop from
folder
one.
and they will
Start with
be
loop from
automatically
two
picked
one
by the role. You do
because
not need to
one is
specify, like
contributing
if
to
I am
these two
placing files
factors
here
which
in
making
this
it is a
location,
prime. So
I
I'm
do
saying
not
okay,
need to
check
specify the
numbers
location. My
other than
roles
which
know that
contribute to
any
prime
files
numbers.
need to
So
be
that's why I
picked
started
in
from
the task
2 1
will
thing. So
be
if any number in this
located
range
and will be
divide n
looked
one thing, it means
upon
it has
here by
factors
default.
other than 1
This is
and
why each entity
so
in the
that's
role
clear.
has a specified location, and by default role will look here. If even if I just give the
Yes,
name
question.
of that
We can also
entity,
because
it will
like
look
we can
in
count the factors
specified
and
location
if it is
by
2 we
default.
can say it is prime, right? Because
So I
that's
did
what
not
I
need to put
said,
extra
right? Your
management in my
count it
code,
is
extra
okay.
code inside the
Okay.
playbook. Then comes meta.
Yes.
handlers, tasks that get triggered for some action.
Can you show me the
Once we
something
call
like this
notify
part
inside the
where
playbook,
you are
these all
counting
tasks
the
can be placed
stars?
in
Can you
handlers
show me the
folder
logic?
or subdirectory. Then comes meta. Meta folder has information about author supported platforms. So any information that you want to just put in for
What's your
information,
question? Just hold
metadata,
on 2 seconds.
you can put in meta
One check.
folder inside
I
main.yml.
is equals to
So if you see,
empire.
every folder has main.yml except files. So where I need to write content,
Okay.
I need to write in
Anyone
form
else?
of YML, and that will be the role will look by default main.yml
No doubt.
inside
No
the
confusion. I'll go.
specific folder. Similarly, we have
Okay,
a
guys. So
task. This is
now what we're
important
going to do
folder
is we are
that contains the
comparing
main
two
list of tasks to
algorithms
be
on
executed
the
by the role,
basis
and
of
this will actually contain our
execution time.
internal playbook that will
So
contain task. Okay,
comparing
so these actually
the
these are not complete playbooks. The host and everything, the target
algorithms.
and all, we define in the outer playbook from where I will be calling the
Today's
role. These playbooks, actually these task files,
execution.
actually contain task only that need to be executed. Rest of the things that we discuss, like
So
host,
let's say there are
beacon,
two persons, A
name
and
of the
B,
playbook,
right?
everything will be
And both of them
need
provided
not
with
to be
the
provided here. Simple.
same
That
problem
will be
statement,
taken
same
care by
test
the
cases,
external playbook
everything is
from
same.
which we will
Okay.
call the
But
row.
the time taken by
Then come
A is
templates.
20
In Ansible, we
seconds
have Jinja
and
templates,
time
or we can
taken
use
by
other
B
templates also
is
that will
15
be
seconds.
used
Okay.
to
Now if I
replace.
ask you
Means, like, suppose
which
I
one
have
is
a
better,
generic
A or
template
B?
from where I need to
It's
create a file on
definitely
the
B is
target
better.
machine by replacing some of the
Correct?
values.
Because it's taking
So here
less
I
time
can
in
use
comparison
Ansible's
to
Jinja templates.
A1. Okay.
So these
But
templates
the thing
can be
is,
placed in this
he
folder,
is
templates
using
folder, and can be used for
latest
creating files with
MacBook
different
company. Okay, so let's say
variables placed
M4,
inside them.
M4.
Okay, suppose I have
Okay,
one file
but A
here.
is executing their code in some folder Windows. Okay, so let's say
Suppose this is
Windows
one file.
XP. Okay, now
This
let's
is the
say
second file
A is also
that I want
switched
to
to
create on target
MacBook, and
machine.
now the
File 1,
time taken by
file 2, and this is
A
for
is 12 seconds
website
and
1
B is
or web page 1.
15
I can say
seconds.
home page.
Now, if I ask you
Here
the
I
question,
want to write,
which one is better?
hey,
So, answer is A
this
is
is
better now because it's taking less time in comparison
Devops
to
training,
B. Okay, but there is one more
right?
constraint. Okay,
And inside
constraint
this,
is A
in
is
this
using
website, I want to have
C++
another page. When I
programming
go to
language
Ansible
and
training,
B is using
I want to create
Python. Okay,
same
and
page
out of
with
these
some
two,
different content. Okay,
C++ is faster. That's why
hey,
it's using in the
this is
game development. Okay, so now let's
Ansible
say
training,
B is also
right?
switched to
What
C++
changes here?
now, and
Just
now its
this
time
thing,
taking is
DevOps and
10
Ansible.
seconds.
So I
Okay,
can create a
and
template
it's taking is
that will
taking
have
12 seconds. Now,
all the
if I
content
ask you
like
the
this.
question,
Hey,
which one
this
is better?
is
So now this time it's look like
then my Jinja
B is
variable. Okay,
better than A,
say training name.
right?
This can be
So
placed
now
here
try to
and then
understand there are
training.
a lot of
So during the
external
execution, I
factors
can use the
which
same
affect
template
the
to create any
execution
number of files
time.
by just replacing the
So
Jinja,
my
by just
question
replacing the variable in
is
Jinja template.
is
So this is what
execution time
templating concept Ansible has. Okay, so this is what templates can be
a
discussed in
good
detail. These are again a vast topic to be discussed and can be covered in
parameter
advanced tutorials. Then comes
to
test.
judge
Test, if required, if you want to
an
run some,
algorithm?
we want to build and run some automated test cases, testings on our
Yes,
roles, then
definitely
we
not.
can
Why?
place them inside
Because
test folder.
it's depend
Last
on
folder that we
lot
see
of
here is vars.
external factor which
Vars
not
actually
in our
stores
control now.
variables
Okay, because everyone
higher
can't afford
priority
MacBook.
than default
Okay, but
variables.
everyone can't
Default
code in
variables
C++.
are placed in
Someone is
default,
comfortable in Python, they
while
can code in Python. Correct?
variables
And
with
there are
higher
a lot of
priority are
other
placed in
factors also.
vars
Okay, like
folder,
someone is
and they are difficult to
coding
avoid.
in hotter
Once they are
region, someone
written
is coding in the
with the value, they will
cold
be
region.
used
So this
as well.
also creating an
This
issue.
is the detailing
Okay,
of Ansible
so
roles
answer
structure
is
in
definitely
order to
no,
understand the role
because
hierarchy and placement of each entity.
it's
Now, I think we have understood
depend on
what role is and how role content is organized.
lot
Now we
of
will try to deploy our own role in next session.
external factors, and these factors are nothing as control. Okay. So now think about what else we can
In our
take
last
to
session, we talked
compare
about
two
Ansible
algorithms
roles
which are independent of
and the
these
structure
things.
of it. Now in this
Anyone?
session, we will see Ansible roles in action. We will try to create our own role
Okay, memory.
and run them using a cover
But
playbook.
right now,
Let's
you are
go to Ansible master machine,
checking
which
on
is
the
deployed
basis of
here,
time, at the time. Memory is
and
another
here we
parameter
will
which
create
I'm agree. But
Ansible roles
again, time wise
using
also we need to take only memory
Ansible
based we
Galaxy.
can't decide which one is better.
So Ansible
Okay?
Galaxy
Later
is a
I will
tool
explain you
that
why
is
I'm saying this. Memory is not
provided
only
with
for
Ansible
practical.
installation
Okay.
itself
So
to
right now I'm saying this is
generate
the guide.
Ansible roles in a
Input
structured
set, but
manner.
input set is always same for all
It
the
is a
questions. Like
recommended way of creating
problem
Ansible roles,
statement given
but
to me and given to you,
it
both
is
are
not
same.
mandatory. You can create manual
Same goes.
hierarchical folder also. You can create manual
CPU
role
core
and then
again.
create all files
This again
and
external
folders as per
factor.
the convention inside it
So let's
manually.
say I have a
That is a time
64 year
consuming and
8 core
repetitive
one.
task.
So which one?
So Ansible
Plus
Galaxy
one.
can be used to
My one is the
generate roles. By default,
Iterations.
Ansible roles are placed,
very good.
should be
Very good.
placed. Ansible looks for roles in etc Ansible roles folder if you are not running from the from
Now
the
think about
roles path.
if I run this
So
loop for
uh,
main,
the preferred is
I is
you can
equals to
create
1,
in going in
I
inside
is
etc
less than
Ansible roles,
equals to n,
but yes, you can
I
have
plus
use you
plus.
can use any other location and you can
Okay.
run your
Now
roles
if
from
I
there
execute
also.
this in
So
Windows
let's
XP
do
or in MacBook
check if
or
we
in
have
C++
Ansible Galaxy installed.
in Python 1, it's take n iterations,
Ansible
correct? Or in any programming language,
Galaxy.
like dependent on the syntax one thing. So for uh, I in n one thing,
Okay.
so it's
So it is
also take
installed.
n
Now we will
iterations one thing. And this thing is
create
independent
Ansible
on
role
these parameters. Okay. So what we're
create
going to do is
and
we are
show the
comparing our
documentation.
algorithms on the basis of
Yeah.
iterations.
So
Okay.
these
But
are the
again,
steps that we are going to
before
cover. We will
uh,
I will just
calculating
give
it,
you
we should
overview.
know how
We
to
will create one
calculate
role,
this. Okay. But is this idea clear to one?
and
Like why we are
here
not taking
once
execution
we
time
have created role, we
and
will see
why
the
we are
structure of
focusing
it.
on iteration because it's not dependent on
After
any
checking the structure, it should
external
look
factor.
like
And if
this,
you run any loop in
and
Java,
we
Python,
will
C++, or
generate our
any other
files and
programming language,
configuration
it will be
files
same.
that we will be
If one
running
is taking
inside
n
the loop.
iterations, so
Okay,
your one is also
and
taking
once
n
these are
iterations.
done, we
It
will
can't be different.
try to
Okay.
use the role. We will
So
create a
if it
handler
is
also.
clear to
Handler will
everyone,
be
now
called
let's
inside the
calculate
role itself
iteration.
to restart Apache service. So here you can see in task we are writing notify restart Apache to service, and this handler will be written in handler folder later on. See, this is restart Apache service, and here in handler I am writing restart
For
Apache to service. The name should be
I is
same.
equals to 1.
The name that I
I
am
is
calling
less
inside
than
notify,
equals to n.
this should be
I
same in
plus n and
handler's
your
name.
performance.
Otherwise, it will not be able to find. It
Okay.
looks with
So
this
if I need to
only
calculate this
to find out
iteration,
relevant
simple thing
handler
is
for the
just check
notification.
what is my starting point.
Then
Starting
this
point is
handler will run, and
what
we
is
will
my
be
ending point.
defining
Ending
some
point is
meta
n.
information inside it. We will deploy
Okay.
our server.
So
This is my playbook
it's a
where I will
closed
be
bracket.
calling
Just
my role
formula is
Ansible
n
Apache
minus
demo
1
or Ansible
plus 1
demo,
which is equals
and then I
to
will
iterations.
run this
Okay.
Ansible playbook
So
which
formula
has
for this one is
roles
always
like
a
this
comma b
defined.
is equals
So
to
this is all we are
b
going to do in
minus
this
a
lab exercise,
plus.
right?
Okay. You can check
So
this thing
let's
also.
go and
So let's
create
say 3 and
one
7. How many numbers are there?
Ansible
So 7
roles
minus 3 plus 1 is equals
using
to
Ansible
5 numbers
Galaxy.
are equals.
In
So you
it,
can check 3, 4, 5,
role name,
6, 7.
call
5
it
numbers. 1,
Apache
3,
demo.
5.
Fine. So you see role
This
Apache
formula
demo
we can
created
use to
successfully. So it
calculate
should create one
iterations.
Apache demo folder here.
Okay. Now
So
I give
we
you a
can
couple
check
of
the
questions and you need
structure
to
using
calculate
tree
its
command root
iteration.
Apache
Okay. And share your
demo.
answer in the chat
Okay,
section.
so tree is not installed.
So
You can
first
install using
question
this command. This is a Linux
for
command that
me,
shows your directory
I is
structure in
equals
form
to
of tree.
0. I is
Now tree is installed. We
less
can
than
check.
equals
You
to
see
root
we have
and
got our Apache demo
I
roles created
plus
with the
simple number
default
performance.
structure, the directories and the files inside
In
them.
chat section. Right.
So the wrapper is ready. Now we need to fill in every folder in order to make our roles usable. Okay. What next? Let's go to task folder.
Log in. Now it's
See, as I
log in.
said, all tasks
Next.
need to be executed are placed in this
Right.
folder. By default, you have main.yml placed in every directory where you want to change the content. But yes, you can add your own files and you can call inside main.yml, because by default
Correct.
main.yml
Okay,
will
root n
execute,
plus 1 is
but
the correct
inside
answer. So root
main.yml
n
we
is
can
also the
call
correct.
other
Again,
ymls
simple thing. What's my starting
also,
point?
or
0.
task
What's
files
my
as well.
ending point? Root
So
n.
let's see.
So
Next,
root n
this is done. This is done,
minus 0
right?
plus 1,
So now we
which
will
is
go
root
inside
n
task and we will
plus 1.
add three things. We will add one
These are the
install.yml to install my Apache. Okay. Next we will configure the Apache using
Next
configure.yml,
question.
and third, using service.yml, we will
So let's say
start
void
the Apache
function
service so that
in
it can be ready
and
to serve
something,
my
and
application.
inside this
Okay, so
we
these
have
three things we are
a
going to do in my role.
I is equals
So
to
first I will
then
create,
one thing.
I
So
will go in
while
tasks,
I is greater
because
than
a task file I need to
something,
modify and add.
I is equals to I by 2 1.
Okay, I need to go inside
Now
role first,
take
then I
a
can
couple of
modify
minutes. Let me know what's the answer.
main.yml of task. See, I am here, and here I can add all the three files, these three.
N by 2 plus 1 is not too bad.
Placeholder will already be there, so I just need to update the content. You see, hyphen is there. This is already a YML file. I have added my all three files. So now these files are placed, but these files are not existing yet. So I need to create all these three files in the same location to be executed. So what I will do now, I will create first install.yml. Should start with hyphen. So here's the content. Okay,
Last
I'm
one.
using YML here. See, I can use both. So let me use the same name, because in main.yml I have kept YML here, right? So I will use YML, otherwise it will not be able to find the exact file. Next, we will go to install.yml and add steps to install Apache. The name of the task is install Apache. Here you can see I'm not putting the whole hierarchy of playbook like host, become, okay, name of the playbook. I'm just putting the task. So this task file folder, the task subdirectory actually should have files that contain task only. No need to provide any other detail. Just copy the content, and what it is doing, it is installing Apache using apt command, because apt it is Ubuntu server. My target machine is Ubuntu server, so I am using apt. And what I need to do, I need to update, install the package with name is equal to Apache 2, update cache yes, and state latest. So there are two ways actually writing Ansible task. Either I can do like run
Okay, guys. So that login
write
is the
like
correct.
this, or
Okay. Now
I can
think
write
about
like this.
it. See, in previous cases, your value is increasing by, right? Or if it is
Write like this.
decreasing by 1, then you can use this one.
We need to leave two spaces.
Otherwise, you can't use this
Two
direct
space
shortcut.
indentation required if I am
Here the value
doing
is
something
not
inside
increasing.
one item, one key. So apt, in this changes I am making inside apt. So two spaces are required, and then I can put the other key. So these three items, name, update cache, and state latest,
Hence,
I
the
can
value is not
put
increasing
like this
or
also.
decreasing
So
by
both
2. Okay, it is something.
ways are supported.
First your
Recommended
value
is the
is
later
n,
one
then
that I am showing
n
here.
by 2 1.
Update
Just I
cache
is initially n.
yes,
N by 2,
and
then
state
n by 4, then
latest.
n by
Latest
8,
means
then n by
should be latest version should be
16,
installed.
then n by 32, and so on. Right?
Okay.
It's not something plus 1 or minus 1. Okay,
So I
previous
will follow
complex.
this one. Let me.
Okay. So now
Follow
question
anyone.
arises
So
how to
let's
solve
remove
this.
this
So
and follow
to
first
solve
one.
this is again,
Hope will work similarly.
and I can write it as n
My
is equals
install.yml
to
is ready.
n
Next,
upon
I need to
2
create
power
configure.yml. Once Apache is
n
installed,
by 2, I
this
can write it as n upon
configure.yml will run,
2 power,
and the content it will
n
have
by 4, we can write
this
it
one.
as n
What it
upon
will do, we will
2
configure
power.
apache2.conf file.
Next,
Actually,
n
by
by
default,
8,
Apache
we can
uses
write it as n upon
apache2.conf file, which
2
has the
power
configuration
3.
mentioned here. So you can use this
n by
apache2.conf
16,
file in
we
remote
can write
machine,
it as n upon
and
2
also
power
we will
4.
restart the apache2
Next,
service. So what we are
n
going to
by
do in this step, we are going to configure, and in the
32, we
service.yml
can
we are
write
going
it
to
as n
restart the
upon
apache service.
2 power 5.
So
And
then we will send one file
now
etc
we don't
from
know
etc
when
in this
it
our
becomes 1,
apache role folder.
right?
We
Because
have
we
files.
don't know
So in files
after
we
how
have
many terms it will become 1.
apache2.conf
So
file,
I'm saying,
which will
okay,
be placing on
there
the
are 8
apache
terms.
server machine.
Okay.
Okay, here
So after 8
the
terms,
location
the
will be
value of
home ubuntu
I becomes
folder. So
stopping
this is what
that
we are
is.
going to do. So these are the steps
So
that our
now
machine will
this is
follow.
my first term,
This should be 3 hyphen.
correct? This is the second term. This is the third term.
Fine.
This is the
You see,
fourth term.
first task is
This is
using
the
copy module to
fifth term.
copy Apache to .conf
This is the
from my
sixth term.
roles
And
file
so on.
location. By
We
default,
have
I am
done,
not
which is
specifying any
the
locations. It will
eighth
look my
term one,
files
right? Now,
subdirectory
if you
to
observe carefully,
check for the existence of this
first
file
term
and copy to
power
the
is 0. Second
destination
term
etc
power
apache
is
2
1.
folder.
Third term
Okay.
power is 2.
Second is,
Fourth term
once this
power is
copy
3.
is this file is
Fifth
copied,
term power is
so
4.
this is Apache
Means
configuration file.
power
After
is
this,
1
restarting
less than
Apache
the
service is mandatory to
term
make
1.
this new file
Correct?
effective.
So if I want to write
That's why
the
I need to
kth
restart
term,
service, and I will call
so what is my
notify.
kth term in terms of
This
n,
will
which
call
is n
again
upon
handler
2 power
restart Apache
t
to service
minus
from
2.
the handler subdirectory.
Correct?
Where
Because
I
this is
will
the
create a
kth term.
handler.
So power
Okay.
is 1 less.
So this
Okay.
I'm going
Now
to do.
this value is equals to which one?
Second, I will
This is one thing.
copy one
It
of
is
my
equal to 1.
HTML file in the
When I solve
destination
this, so
home
n
Ubuntu
is
folder.
equals to
This
2
HTML
power
I will use
t
further
minus 2.
to
Okay.
display on
And for
the
simplicity, let's
Apache
take it
web
as
page.
n is nearly equals to
So these are the steps
2
I am going
power
to perform in
k.
my configure.yml.
Okay, for simple case.
Third file I need to create
Now
is
my task is
service.py.
to find the value of k1.
These
Okay,
three
and we
files
know
I
when
defined
anything is in
inside
power and
main.yml
you need
and
to
these will
find
be
its
used.
value, always take log.
So again, inside task folder,
So
create
take log on
service.yml, which will
4
make sure Apache
times
service is
base
started. Okay.
2.
If it is stopped, it will
So
start.
this
If it is
is
started, it
log
will
n
not do anything.
base 2 and here it is log 2
So
base 2 power
name
3.
service
Okay, now I'm
name
using
Apache
log
2
property.
instead
So
started.
if a power
I can
k1
write
thing
the other way
is
also,
equals
service,
to
then
k
next line
k.
indented,
So if
two
I
spaces
use this
indented,
thing,
name
so
Apache
it
2,
is
and then
log
next line is state
n
started, state colon started.
base 2
So both way
is
will be
equals to
working.
a log 2
So my task
base.
subdirectory is ready,
Now second
main.yml
property
is
that
ready,
I'm
and all
using
files
is
are
if
available here.
log and base are same, its value is okay, so this value is 1.
Now,
So now what
what we
is
need
my
to
k
do,
value?
I
K
need
is
to
equals
get
to
one
log n
apache2.conf file.
base.
Okay.
And that's my
So my
iterations,
Apache 2 content,
for
because
this
I am
particular
copying, if you
is
see
log n
configure.yml,
base
I am
2.
copying apache2.conf file to destination
Okay.
servers etc apache 2 folder. For
Sir,
this,
can you
I
explain
need to
again?
place
Oh, no, this is not the correct one. Tell
apache2.conf
me
file
what is that
inside
is
my
complete.
file folder. As of now, if
So
I
you
see, there
लॉग
is
इन
no file,
कैसा है
right?
यही समझ
So
में नहीं आया।
apache2.conf need to be
जब
available
भी कोई
inside
चीज
roles
हमारी
files
पावर
location.
में होती है उसकी
So
वैल्यू
let
हमें
me
फाइंड
see
करनी
if
होती है
this
तो हम
I
लॉग
have
लेते
Apache. I don't have
हैं। ये
Apache
मतलब
installed, right?
रूल है
So
मैथ्स का। ये जब भी आपको
I need
कोई
to
चीज
get one
पावर में
file.
उसकी वैल्यू फाइंड करनी है तो लॉग ले लो। ठीक है, तो मैंने लॉग ले लिया, मैंने बेस 2 के साथ क्यों लिया, जिससे कि यार मेरा ये वाला नंबर भी कैंसिल हो जाए जब मैं लॉग की प्रॉपर्टी यूज। तो लॉग की प्रॉपर्टी
So for
होती है
this,
अगर किसी
I
नंबर
need
की
to
पावर
do
बढ़
some
गया आप उसको बाहर लिख सकते
extra
हो। ये
step
तो मैंने
that is
बाहर
not
लिख
part of
दिया,
the role
अब मेरे
creation.
पास
I
क्या
can
बचा,
install
लॉग
one
2 बेस। और दूसरी
Apache
चीज, अगर मेरा नंबर
in
और
my
बेस
local,
दोनों सेम
in
होते
my
हैं तो उसकी वैल्यू
Ansible
हमेशा 1।
master, so that I
तो
have
log
one
2 बेस 2 की वैल्यू
apache2.conf
कितनी हो
file.
गई?
I can
तो इसको मैं ऐसे लिख
definitely,
सकता हूँ
if you are
k
working in
into 1
production or
is
in
equals
IT
to
environment, so we
log
will be
n
having one
base 2
modified
and k into
apache2.conf
1
available.
k1
But for the sake of
is
availability, I
equals
am
to
installing here
log
one.
n base
Sudo apt install
ऐसे।
apache 2.
हाँ सर ये बेस कैसे डिसाइड
This is
होता है?
not part of the rules. I'm just
बेस यार
doing
हमेशा
it
ऐसे
to
डिसाइड
get
करते हैं
one
कि ये
apache2.conf
नंबर
file
मेरा
that should be
एलिमिनेट हो
valid
जाए।
and
तो
run
यहाँ पे
without any
मुझे
issue.
एलिमिनेट करने के लिए 2 चाहिए था,
Okay,
इसलिए
so
मैंने
if I
बेस 2।
check, this file should be available now.
और
So I
अगर
can copy
डिवाइडेड
this
बाय 10
file
होता तो आप 10 बेस देते
to
है ना?
my roles files folder. Correct? If you see now in files location,
Next,
you will see
here.
apache.conf available.
While
Fine.
I is greater
So
than
this
not
is
होगा या
done.
I greater
We
than
have
equal to
file available in files
So
folder, roles
one
name file
is a
folder
stopping
to
condition.
be
मैंने
copied
लिखा
to the
While
destination.
you cannot
Now
always
second
stop.
thing was we were copying one
so while I
HTML
is
file also.
okay.
So this is
One
the
together
content, a
is
simple
like
HTML file I need
No,
to create,
that's why right now
and I
at
can
gate time it will
keep
stop.
the name. What I get copy.html, right? So this way I can create
अगर मैं
one
1 रखता तो ये एक बार
copy.html
और
the same
चलेगा,
location
मतलब
where
ये k plus
in
1 पे finish,
files
अब log n plus 1 तक चलेगा।
subdirectory, because for copying roles will look inside
ये repeat करेंगे क्या?
files
Can you clarify this?
directory only.
Okay.
So both the files
दो
are
चीज है,
ready that need to be copied
greater than 1
to
और
my
equals to 1. greater than 1 का
destination
मतलब ये हुआ कि
apache2.conf
जैसे
and
इसकी वैल्यू
copy.html,
1 होगी
right?
आप लूप से
So
बाहर आ
next
जाओ,
we need to do
और इस बात का मतलब हुआ अगर 1 भी है
we are using
तब भी
notify,
आप ये
right?
वाला
So
काम
we need to
परफॉर्म
create
करोगे,
handler for
और
this
उसके बाद जब इसकी वैल्यू 0 हो जाएगी
that we are
तब आप
using
बाहर,
under
तो जब मेरा
configure.yml.
i
So let's go
greater than 1
inside
था
handler
तो मेरी
and
स्टॉपिंग
create and
कंडीशन
update
क्या
the
हुई, जैसे
main.yml
वो
to
1 हो
add
जाएगा
one
आप लूप जाओ,
handler.
राइट? तो
So this
तब
is how
तक
we
अगर
can
मैं
add
मान रहा
handler.
हूँ
It
कि
is
यार
like
मेरे
a
पास
task only.
8
In
टर्म्स है,
handler
तो
we
उसका
just
आंसर हो गया
simply
मेरा
create one
लॉग एन
task.
पेस्ट.
There is no
नाउ
other
अगर मैं 1 के लिए भी
special thing we
चलाता
are doing.
तो मेरी टोटल
Just
टर्म्स
this
कितनी हो गई,
task will
k
be
प्लस 1, एक
can be
बार और मैंने
called
एक्स्ट्रा चलाया
by
लूप को,
multiple
तो
tasks
उस केस में
inside
आंसर
main
कितना हो
playbook
जाएगा,
or
लॉग
task
एन बेस
yml.
प्लस
So this is the only
एक
purpose
साथ
of
में ये मेरी
having
एडिशन
handler
रहेगी
for
अगर
the
मैं
sake
इसको
of
इक्वल्स
reusability.
टू 1.
Okay, so I can go inside handler
आया समझ में?
and main.yml. I can place my handler task. Okay, so this
Anyone else? Any other doubt?
only one time. So name, restart and service. This will again, after putting apache2.conf, it will restart the Apache service. So this is simple task it is doing.
My voice is
Next,
breaking.
what we do? We have got handler ready, we have got task yml ready, we have got files ready to be placed. Now this we should check. Right?
Yes,
My
Ayush.
notify and handler should have same name.
Okay, okay.
So let's
Yes, Ayush.
see using cat. This is restart Apache 2 service. Similarly, I can cat my task folders
Again,
configure
by
yml
this
file.
tool and there's this
What
comments.
it
Okay,
is.
it's better you can
So
try
just
it.
ensure restart Apache 2 service, restart Apache 2 service, both are same.
Yes.
Then only notify will be able to trigger this handler. What's next? We are ready with all the things. Yes. Next is adding meta information. This is not necessary, but you can add some information to your roles metadata. Anything you can add. Let me call this meta.
ये बात मैं फाइंड किया है वैल्यू,
Like you see, a lot of informations are there.
अगर
So
आपको
I will
किसी
not
ने
touch
इस तरह का
anything. By
कोड
default,
किया
it
होगा
has
तो उसका एडिशन
author and all, so I
ये
can
तो
add
आपने
a
फाइंड
Devops
किया है, ये तो आपको पहले से कैसे पता चलता
and
तो
I can
मतलब
add
कोई
here
भी जैसे कहीं भी अगर ऐसा
dev
दिया है तो
ops
उससे डिवाइड होता जा रहा
training.
होता जा रहा है, तो ये ये लिख सकते हैं उसका.
है? 2 से
Again,
डिवाइड और
company
अगर 2
name,
से मल्टीप्लाई, लेकिन अगर मैं इसका उल्टा करूँ तो क्या होगा, तो अगर मैं i की वैल्यू को 1 से स्टार्ट कर रहा हूँ
Devops
और
company,
n तक ले
right?
जाऊंगा तो i इक्वल टू हो
This
जाएगा,
is how I have
उस
placed
केस में
my
भी आपके इटरेशंस
roles information here in
तो कभी
meta.
मल्टीप्लाई और डिवाइड का फैक्टर आता है तो हमेशा
That's it.
log n
Now
में
I have to create one wrapper playbook, master playbook that will call this role inside. And this is a simple
महाराजा
playbook that I create here. I will show you. I need to come outside this.
अगर ये जैसे
The playbook should be out of the role. It will not be inside roles directly. So I will go one level above and I will create my master playbook here.
बेस 3
बस दैट्स इट, इतना ही चेंज होगा
Dot yml and
क्योंकि आप ये देखो ना तब
I will
हमारा
just
जो होता
write
मैं
it.
कुछ
Now you
ऐसा
see,
बोल
this
रहा
is
था n is
actual
nearly
playbook.
equals
We
to
have
3
host
पावर
here.
तो मुझे 3
The
हटाना
host
है तो बेस
I am
में 3,
using. If you remember, my
बाकी
host
तो सब
was
नेम सेम ही
web
रहेंगे.
servers, right? I will cross verify
मतलब
again.
ये क्या
etc
पता
and
देगा अगर हम तो कोड भी लॉग वाला
web
बेस
servers. Here it should be
ये तो हम आइटरेशंस निकाल रहे हैं, हम कोड
now
थोड़ी ना,
sudo
कोड तो ये है, कोड ये है, ये तो हमने उस कोड की आइटरेशंस
and then
निकाली
roles
जो कितनी
Apache
बार चल
demo.
रहा है. ये तो ना
The roles of the name should be checked again. Should be Apache demo. It is a list. I can call multiple roles. That's why you see roles is a list with hyphen. First
तो आप
hyphen. I
इनबिल्ट
can
फंक्शन
add
यूज कर सकते हैं.
one more role also. If I call in, if I want to call in sequence another role, so I can add
The k term
here
is
as well.
okay. Say Ayushi, the
Role
idea is
name.
if you check
For
the
now, as
number
I
and the
have
power one thing,
only
so
one
it
role,
is
so I will go
first
and
term
run like this.
power is
Let's
0,
cross verify
means
the
1 less.
host tag.
Okay. Second term power is
Cat.
again 1 less.
Or
Third term
yeah,
power is 2,
I will
1
not use
less.
cat.
Fourth term power is
Vim
1 less.
etc
Fifth term
ansible.
power is 1 less. Fourth term. So if I want to write for the k term,
Okay,
it is also
so the
n
group
upon
name is
2 power
on
k
which I am
minus
going to run
k
this
term
is
power
web
is 2.
servers.
Okay. So that's why k terms 2 upon
So this is what I am
n
going to
upon
do.
2 power n.
The role name, the host name is correct that I am using in my playbook.
Yes,
My everything is ready in terms of roles and master playbook that will calling the role. Now I can do a syntax check and run the ansible playbook that will be running roles
Let's say if
indirectly.
we are implement
So let's
the
do
byte instead
Ansible
of one, then what will be the
playbook.
problem is this.
See,
Then playbook
in that
name,
case, just
master
simply 2 by
playbook.
2, whatever the
Then
value it
hyphen
is,
hyphen
2 by 2.
syntax.
Okay, or again, you
Check.
need to make a series also. Okay, that
This
1,
role is
2,
included
and what's the
inside
next
master
value?
playbook. This
It's
will
4,
perform
4 plus 2, 6,
a
6
syntax
plus
check
2, 8,
inside role
8
also.
plus
So
2,
everything is
10,
fine.
1,
It
3,
returned my
right?
playbook name,
If
so
your
I
n
can
is
run it
equals to 10, 1,
now.
how many iterations you have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
It is
1,
running.
which is
You
nothing.
see, running
10 by
on group playbook
So
play on
directly you can
running
write
on
10
group
by
of
2.
web servers.
You can check
When I
it.
am running against a
Okay, so
group of
either
servers,
we
it
can
will run on all
create
the
a
servers. You can
formula
see
by
two
putting
entries
the
are coming here:
sequence and
Ansible master, Ansible
we can
slave.
directly use by
So all the
like
items, all the servers you have
X.
inside your host group, it will show here. Installing Apache 2 on, if you remember, on
Yes,
Ansible
sure.
master I installed it
Hey,
already
hi, Karthik. So,
to
in
get the
this
apache2.conf file.
explanation,
So
you
here
have
it is not doing
taken
any
as
change.
I
It is
by
already installed,
correct?
so you can
Every
see
time
okay.
n is decreasing
Second,
by
changed
1 by 2,
master,
correct?
sorry, Ansible
But if
slave. So
by 2,
on
if I
second
take by
Ansible
3,
slave, it
then
actually installed
is that
Apache
you
2.
take log
That
2
was
base
not
3 now?
available.
Oh, right. That someone else has done the
Second,
same thing. Yes. Log in
apache2.conf
base.
file was available.
Because again,
The
same thing
same
is
was,
n
I
is
did
here
not make any
equals to
change in the
n equals to 3
apache2.conf.
power. Okay, so my
That's
task
where
is
you
to
see
eliminate
the
this thing.
Ansible file is
Means I need to
copied.
take base 3.
Did not copy, it was available already. If I have some updated changes in the apache.conf, then it will show you
Anyone else? Any other
with
doubt?
changed tag. Then copy.html was copied successfully. It was a new file for both the servers, so it is copied successfully to my home Ubuntu location. If I try to check, I should be
Stay
able
here,
to
then
check
we
inside
can
my home
nest
Ubuntu
it.
where I copied the file.
Okay,
See,
so let's say
copy.html
given
is available here, right?
I is equals to 1,
Then the next
I
step was
is less than equals to n,
to have
I
this
plus plus,
start
and
Apache 2
inside
service.
this we have
On
another loop
first Ansible
for
master, it was able to
n
do so, but second,
j is
it
equals
failed.
to 1.
I
J
failed it
is
intentionally
less than
just to show
equals to
you
20.
how we can
J
troubleshoot.
plus plus,
It failed saying
then we are writing
because
the
the
logic
control
part.
process existed where error code system is
What's the
Apache service
iteration?
for details.
Again,
So we
write
have
the
to check the
presentation.
logs. And you know why it failed? Because Apache uses port 80 and that is already being used by Nginx service that we installed earlier. What we can do, I can uninstall Nginx here so that I can use port 80 for my Apache 2. So let's do sudo apt remove Nginx. Okay, so this will install. Oh, sorry, I need to put y. So if I check port, okay, this is again using. Let me stop the service.
Correct. Okay, so answer is 20.
Down.
And okay, now when you are
Equal.
nesting the concept, it's better to make table. Initially, once you are converting, you can
Let me check the status first.
so
Sudo
I, J,
system
iterations.
ctl status nginx.
Okay. Now when
See,
I
it
is
is running.
equals to 1,
I think
J
it is
loop run
running
from
and it was.
1 to 21. So how
It did
many
not
iterations are
remove
there? 20 iterations.
the software. Okay, we got
When
one error.
I is equals to
We
2, J loop
can
again
run
run
this
from 1 to
and see
20.
what
My
happens.
iterations are 20. When I is equals to 3, J loop again run from 1 to 20 times iterations are.
Okay, so now
In the
it is
same way, when
dead.
I is equals
Now
to
service
n1,
is
J loop again
inactive.
run from 1 to
It
20.
is installed
My
and we can see
iterations are
the status
20.
of port should be free. Yeah.
Now, what
So
is my
port is
final
free
answer?
now.
My final answer
So I will
is
show you two things here.
20 plus
First,
20
I will make
plus
some
20
changes in
plus 20
our
plus.
Apache 2 conf so that we can
Okay.
have
How
some
many times this
changes
20 is?
available here
N
also in this location.
times.
What I will do,
20
I will go inside Apache demo roles,
iterations.
files, and
Okay,
edit this
now
file.
next
What I
one
can
more
do, I
question.
can remove some of the
For n, I is
this
equals to 1, I
blank
is
lines.
less than equals
Let's
to
not make more
I
changes to the
plus
file. I will make
plus
just remove
inside
this
this
blank line so
or
that file should be intact. The content should be intact.
J is equals to
We
1.
have port
Now
available on
this
target
J
machine. We
is
have
less
changed
than
something in
equals to
apache2.conf.
2 power
So
I
let's try to
and J
run Apache,
plus
this
plus.
master playbook once
Then you are
again.
doing some
Before
more.
that, the copy.html file that I placed, I want to
Find
place
the
inside
iteration
uh,
sequence. Okay, take your time.
this folder.
It goes to
Apache
instance
will
and
picks
one
actually
period.
from where
Share
www.html
your
folder.
answer in chat
So I
section.
will place my file there.
J equal to what is J equal to I?
So let me go
J is
inside
equals to 2 power
where I
I.
have to do this in
Uh,
Apache
J
demo
is
role
equals to
and
J is equals to
task configure.
2 power I. So it's
Okay, so
not
here
system.
rather copying in
J.
home Ubuntu, I should put this file where www/html. Okay, so here actually
And
Apache looks
power
for
2 answer is wrong.
files.
And
Let
power 2.
me run
See,
this
I is the
playbook again and see what
variable
happens.
because you can't give me the answer in terms of.
So gather fact fine, install Apache 2 not required, it is available already. Now you see
But
Apache
in
2
that
new
case
file
also
is
we can
copied
say
and
there are
changed.
k terms.
Copy.html is again
But we
copied to
need to
new
find the
location.
value of
This
k
is showing
terms.
change
Same
because
thing.
now
Can't give
we
your answer
copied the
in
file
terms
on
of
the
I. It should be in terms of
second directory on where www.html. Okay, and then this again Apache 2 service was stopped, was not started on the target machine, so it is started successfully. It is showing changed, while on Apache master it was already started in the first run. And restart Apache also done successfully here by notifying the handler. You can see running handler. So this is all done successfully. We can check and we can see if my website is accessible using curl localhost. I can do this. This is the name, it was copy.html, and you see my file is accessible inside Apache folder. Okay, same thing I can access on web. So let me go on the Google website page and get the IP of the Ansible master or slave. Both should be, because I have deployed on the both target machines, so I should be accessible. My Apache home page, sorry, Apache index file, copy.html. This copy HTML file, right, on web page itself. So you see, this way my Ansible um, sorry, the file that I deployed, the web page that I deployed on the Apache using Ansible has been successfully deployed and is accessible inside Apache 2. By default, the file name should be index.html. Here I need to give the copy.html because I did not specify the index.html in the destination file name. So if you want to do that, you can do as well. We can change the configure.yml and I can place the target file name here, correct? And this, if I run again, you will see this is running. Most of the things will be unchanged now. Okay, this is done.
Okay.
Now if I
All
go to the
the
server
log answers are wrong.
and
All the end power
because I have
answers
copied
are
with the
wrong.
index.html,
And that's it.
and I can check here also. Let's see the content of
Okay.
my
Again, nested loops also make a table.
local host. Now you see the content has been replaced with the copy.html content without giving the file name, and same can be tested here. See, this is a demo file that will change to my custom file, and welcome to Ansible demo. Same can be verified on Ansible master as well.
I value, J value, number of iterations.
I run this, I will be able to see this deployment here. So you see the
J
configuration
is
that I
also
made, I was able to run this
the
simultaneously
iterations
on
are
two of the target
1, 2,
machines. Similarly, I
2
can
power
have
I.
100 of machines where Ansible can
So
deploy the same
for
configuration in
I,
one
I
go
is equals to 1,
in
J
very
loop
less
runs
amount
1,
of time
1, 2,
as compared to
2
manual
power 1 thing. So what are my
deployments.
iterations?
So this is about
Iterations.
Ansible
2 power
that we
1.
wanted to cover in
Next,
Ansible
when
Devops
I is
tutorial.
equals to 2,
This is all done in the
J
lab
loop run 2,
exercise.
1, 2, 2
So
power
thanks
2.
for attending and
Iterations are
keep
2
tuned and
power.
keep learning. Bye.
Okay. I is equals to 3. It's 1 comma 2 power 3. Your iterations are 2 power 3. Okay. In the same way, for n one thing, it is 1 comma 2 power n. Iterations are 2 power n. Okay. So now what is my final answer? My final answer is summation of all the iterations. Okay. Which is 2 power 1 plus 2 power 2 plus 2 power 3 plus 2 power 4 plus 2 power 5 up to so on 2 power n. Okay. Now, what is this? Okay, so this is nothing. This is your GP series. Okay, GP means is geometric progression. Okay, and how to check this is we always check its common ratio. Okay, common ratio is term n upon n minus 1. Okay, you can write n plus 1 upon n. 2 power 4 upon 2 power 3 is also equals to. Okay, so when my common ratio for all the terms are coming out same, then it's a G3 series.